everybody. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. The Eagles are in the NFC title game, and they are favored to win the Super Bowl. Here we sit right here on this Monday morning in the Delaware Valley. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Everybody is here. The baby boy, Bill Colarulo, is back with us. Ray Dunn is here. The Eagles, what a game. I got to be honest with you. It was really a gutty, impressive survival win in inclement weather. I don't know how you play in that. I don't know how you succeed in that unless you are really tough. And yesterday, and I hate to use this cliche, but iron does sharpen iron. Them winning that game was an iron sharpening experience. And I can't imagine at this point that they could possibly lose an NFC title game to the Commanders. We'll get to that soon enough. But, I'm looking at this game, and I wrote that in my head. I just clicked off 9 big plays in this game that the Eagles made. What was the biggest play? Was it one of Saquon Barkley's 2 touchdown runs? Was it Jalen Hurts' opening series TD? Was it Jalen Carter's sack of Stafford? Was it Hurts' 4th and 4 completion in the fourth quarter with 8:55 left? Was it Jake Elliott, especially the 44-yard field goal, the line drive? Was it the defensive stop with 3 and out after the Elliott field goal? Was it Jalen Carter's punch where he got the fumble out of Kyron Williams? Was it Nolan Smith's strip sack fumble, Matthew? I mean, you could just go down the line and look at the big plays that the Eagles made to win that game yesterday. And I know it got hairy in the end, but I got to be honest with you. I'm watching. I guess somebody's going to make a play. They always do. This team always makes a play to survive. And they did it again yesterday. And now you're looking about being on the precipice of another Super Bowl appearance. And I don't know what more to say. So let's turn it over to the people here who watched the same game I did. And the people who went to that game yesterday. I want to hear from you because you had your own survival instincts to survive a game like that with the inclement weather and the emotions and what was going on. Just an amazing experience for everybody, and the Philadelphia Eagles advance. Bill Colarulo, congratulations, first of all. Baby girl. And I know you're working on a little bit of sleep these days. So this is fresh in your mind. And what a weekend you had. The birth of a child, Dan Campbell losing, the Eagles winning, and here you are Monday morning. Good to see you, Bill. Congrats.
Thank you, Michael. It is good to be back. I am operating on fumes, but mostly just adrenaline because you're right. What a weekend. So Bianca's born Thursday night. We get out of the hospital on Saturday just in time to watch my favorite coach in the NFL, Dan Campbell's aggressiveness, come back to haunt the Detroit Lions. I told you it would happen, and it happened. But then the culmination of the weekend, watching the Philadelphia Eagles win 28-22 yesterday against the Rams in that inclement weather. And this is the bottom line. It's not always going to be pretty, but good teams find ways to win games. Bad teams find ways to lose games. And the Philadelphia Eagles continuously find ways to win. They're now 14-2 on the season when Jalen Hurts starts and finishes. And I know Hurts took some bad sacks in that game. I know some people wanted Jalen Hurts to play better, quote unquote. But when you look at the final statistics, 0 turnovers by Jalen Hurts, a big 44-yard touchdown run by Jalen Hurts. And you can't underestimate what Jalen Hurts does in the running game that also helps open up holes for Saquon Barkley, who goes up for over 200 yards. It's a beautiful day, Michael. NFC Championship game in Philadelphia on Sunday. I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah. Listen, I don't understand the people. We'll certainly dive into this because people are still saying the same thing now about the lack of Eagle passing game. How is it possible to pass in that way? Like I look at it, I go, how do you even apply the same criteria? Oh, Matthew Stafford did it. Well, Matthew Stafford didn't do it until like really late. Where, his guys dropped balls. Nakua was a non-factor until that last catch he made, and they were in a soft prevent defense over the last couple series. But come on, man. I mean, you had to do anything you could to win that game yesterday, and this is not a game where you look at the lack of passing. And we'll get into it because people are still saying it. But before we get into the break, Ray, I hear the music, but I also hear Nick Sirianni post-game speech in the locker room after this one. Can we get it?
Hey, we knew that could be tough, right? You get this far, they're going to be tough. And there were some hard moments in that game. But we embraced the adversity and we have found a way. That's all that matters right now. That's all that matters right now. How about that championship defense? Defense. We talked about hitting Stafford. We hit him from the beginning all the way to the end. That was an unbelievable job. All right, it's unbelievable jobs. Guys, we were able to run the football in the conditions, and we found a way. Right? All that did for me, besides put this chain on me, thank you, Chauncey, is made me hungry as I'm so hungry. And I know you guys feel the same way. I love you guys. All right, let's go do it. We got business to finish. We got business to finish. Break it down.
Whoa. 5 F-bombs in there, I counted. Maybe 4. I don't know. But there you go. Your boy.
I would have run through a wall right now, Ray.
He was a little subdued.
yeah.
I'm hungry too, Nick.
A little subdued on that. But listen, we'll dive into all elements of this game, including the people who were there. I want to hear from you. What kind of experience was that for you? Were you scared? And that's funny. I go to the end of these games, and I don't get nervous at all. I just don't. This team has convinced me they're going to come up with a play. And they did. 610-632-0975 is how you get into the show. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. They're in the NFC title game against the Commanders. They are now the favorite to win the Super Bowl. We'll go over those odds after this.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico.
12, Mike Missanelli show. Day after, it was so impressive. I'm really impressed. I mean, that's not an easy game to win, to hang in there and win and play your ass off every play to survive. The other team did the same. They're just a little short. They're not as good as the Eagles. And the Eagles made more big plays than they did. What was the biggest play, Bill? Of all the plays that I rattled off, I had 9 that came right to my head that really could have made or broke this game. What was your biggest play?
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because you're right. There are so many plays. I would have said it was Saquon Barkley's 78-yard touchdown run that we all thought sealed the game. Turns out it didn't. So I think the biggest play of the game was probably the last 2 of Jalen Carter's game. Now, Jalen Carter played 97% of the snaps, Mike. He played 69 reps. And on his last 2, he gets the big sack of Matthew Stafford on 3rd down. He gets the quarterback hurry on 4th down. Those may have been the 2 biggest plays of the game because they sealed it. Jalen Carter's an absolute beast, dude. Absolute beast.
How about Nolan Smith's strip sack fumble of Stafford early in the 4th?
That was big. You had Jalen Carter also had the forced fumble
out of Kyron Williams.
That was big. Jalen Hurts' 44-yard touchdown run to start the game. That was big.
I keep looking at the 4th and 4. He always makes a play like that people overlook. A 4th and 4 slant. I go, okay, that slant's there. They should go to it 10 times again. I'm already on the record. I hate the fact that they don't run that slant enough. But reliably, they needed a play, and there it was. Boom. Now he's got to deliver that ball.
And he delivers.
He does. He delivered it. Like, listen, I understand that. Like, I'm reading, first of all, they do this overreaction, underreaction thing. The overreaction. Eagles need a lot more from their passing game to beat Washington. All right. That's assuming that Jaden Daniels is going to play out of his mind again in Philadelphia. It's also presuming that the weather will be conducive to that for him, right? So this who writes this overreaction? Dan, what's his name? Graziani? Yeah, it's Graziani. Not an overreaction. Yes, I watched the game. I know the second half was played in a blizzard. No one could do much. Okay? You know that. Then why you stayed? Why you keep going? I'm not holding the Eagles mere 65 passing yards, 128 total with 63 sack yards against them per se. But they weren't getting much through the air early in the game when the weather was less intense. The Rams threw the ball fine in the 4th quarter. Why did they throw the ball fine in the 4th quarter?
Yeah, a little bit of a blizzard maybe?
Well, no, they threw the ball because they backed off them.
Oh, you're talking about Stafford. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they were playing that prevent, which I didn't love in that moment.
That's why they threw it. You can't compare what they did with a prevent defense to what, like, it was impossible to throw the ball. You can't make a judgment like that, an overall generalized judgment that the Eagles still have passing problems in a game like that. You can't do it.
I'm going to ask you a question now. So Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen all won their divisional round matchups, right? Who do you think had the most total yards between Hurts, Mahomes, and Allen?
Is this a trick question?
It's a trick question depending on how you look at it.
It's Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, 198 total yards. Patrick Mahomes, 191 total yards. Josh Allen, 147 total yards. But the common denominator between all three, 0 turnovers. But Jalen Hurts actually had more total yards than Mahomes and Allen. But the narrative today nationally, Mahomes is a winner. Josh Allen is a winner. Can the Eagles win with Jalen Hurts playing this way? That's the national narrative.
Let's be fair. The other two have more of a pedigree to win than Jalen Hurts.
Josh Allen's never been to a Super Bowl.
That's true.
Right?
But like right now, if you look at those quarterbacks, you go, wow. You know, they have a wow factor, both of them.
They do.
Jalen Hurts doesn't have the wow factor. But my point is, it doesn't really matter at this point whether he has the wow factor. That game was a game of survival. The Eagles are survivors.
They are survivors. That's why I said earlier, good teams are going to find ways to win. And like you said, when you watch these games, you just know they're going to come up with a big play. And it's that complementary football. We talked about that a lot all season. When the Eagles defense needed a play, they go back-to-back drives with Jalen Carter forcing the fumble, Nolan Smith with the strip sack on back-to-back drives.
Consecutive possessions, fumbles by the Rams, yes.
When the Eagles need big plays, you got Saquon Barkley hitting a big one. And you said Jalen doesn't have the wow factor. I was pretty wowed on the 44-yard touchdown run in the first quarter.
Well, I'm talking about through the air.
Through the air at times.
He doesn't have the wow factor through the air. I got it. The 44-yard touchdown, yeah, that's special play. And that's why I say, was that the biggest play of the game? That started them off. Now, they lost the lead twice. Once the Rams scored on the missed extra points. They were on 7-6, and then they tied it. But for the most part, did you feel the Eagles were in control?
Yeah, pretty much the whole game. It felt like the Eagles were in control up until they let them score the touchdown against their prevent defense, and then they get the ball back and they're driving. That was the one time where I started to pucker a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't. I know. Well, how could you not, Mike? I don't know. I just don't. I watch it and I go, that's fine. You know, they're not going to score. I never believe the other team is going to score. It's happened many times where the other team has come down and teased the audience like, oh, my God, they're going to lose this game. And the other team never wins it. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, this defense is so damn good, man. And look, we're talking about Jalen Carter. How about Zach Bond? In the fourth quarter, there was a series where he just took over, and you got to give credit to the other linebacker filling in for Nakobe Dean. I thought Aaron Burks had a pretty decent game. He made some nice plays. It's a good team, Michael. Favorites to win the Super Bowl. How about
Super Bowl? We're going to play some audio and all this stuff. I want to really hear from you on what I know people were nervous, but like at the end, you go, man, that was special the way they won that game. 610-632-0975 back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles are on to the NFC title game. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by WorldwideStereo.com. Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program helps make upgrading your home audio simple and accessible. Trade in your used audio and video gear for superior sound in 2025. Learn more at WorldwideStereo.com. The Birds got past the Rams 28-22 behind another 200-yard rushing game from Saquon Barkley. Barkley had a 62-yard touchdown in the first half and what looked like a game-clinching 78-yard touchdown run late in that game. However, the defense did have to hold serve. They turned over the Rams twice in the second half and then had to turn the Rams over on downs in the game's final minute to secure the victory. Despite the conditions, the Eagles prevailed, and Jalen Hurts talked postgame to NBC's Melissa Stark about playing in those conditions.
I don't know if it'll snow next week, but rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go. We'll be ready to go.
Do you love playing in the snow?
I love playing football. How about that?
A happy Jalen Hurts says a happy town. Right now, the Eagles set to host the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia next weekend against the Washington Commanders, who beat the top-seeded Lions on Saturday. On the AFC side of things, both the Chiefs and Bills advanced to the AFC Championship game. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, 76ers lost both games this weekend, while the Flyers picked up a win over the Devils. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
25, Victory Day. VE Day, as they call it in the State Department. Victory of the Eagles Day, or Victory over the Rams Day. VR, whatever. I'm giddy. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm giddy because I'm looking at the chances to win the Super Bowl. Now, this is where I pull back. I said, I'm not so sure they beat the Lions in an NFC title game. Well, that went out the window. And I'm not sure. I want to get to the Chiefs or the Bills. We'll see. The Eagles now, odds to win the Super Bowl, are ahead of the Chiefs and the Bills. Now, that's probably because the Chiefs and the Bills cancel each other out a little bit. But 33.8% are their odds now to win the Super Bowl. To the Chiefs, 30.5. To the Bills, 25.9. To the Commanders, 9.8. Well, so by these odds, they're saying the Commanders don't have a chance, really, next week. And a lot of people want to talk themselves into thinking that the Commanders have a chance because, like this guy Graziano, here's what he says about the matchup. Hurts left that Week 16 game due to a concussion, so maybe the result would have been different, and maybe it will this time. And here we go with the buts. But unless the Eagles get the same kind of weather they got in Philadelphia on Sunday, there's a chance they will have to throw to keep up with the unflappable Daniels. At some point, this team has to lean on its quarterback if it wants to get to the Super Bowl. Can Hurts and his receivers deliver the NFC Championship game ends up in their hands? There shouldn't be a but, because in the same story, he's making the case about how the Eagles just win. They win. It doesn't matter when they win. And now it always seems that, well, unless they get the same kind. That's discounting the fact that Vic Fangio's defense won't be able to do anything with Daniels. I get it. He's a good player. But they never put the factors in to make the Eagles win.
Yeah, and that's a great point talking about Vic Fangio's defense, because this is now going to be the third time that Fangio gets the game plan for Jaden Daniels. I'm taking Vic Fangio and this Eagles defense over a rookie quarterback. As good as Jaden Daniels has been, not taking anything away from him, he's got to come to Philadelphia, cold weather, in the playoffs, and face Vic Fangio's defense for the third time this season. They're going to have something dialed up. Now, a big factor is the health of Jalen Hurts and Quinyon Mitchell. Now, we heard from Ian Rappaport this morning. It looks like they've avoided serious injury, but Jalen obviously was able to finish the game, so you think he's going to play. We'll see how banged up he is. But Quinyon Mitchell, you need him this week. Isaiah Rodgers, he held his own in bad weather, but we need Quinyon Mitchell.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think the Commanders can come to Philadelphia in almost February and score 30 points?
Against this defense, I'd be shocked.
Well, if they don't score 30, did they win? Can the Commanders actually win without scoring 30 points here? And how likely is it that they're going to score 30 points?
Unlikely. Very unlikely. And Graziano says there, well, maybe the game would have been different if Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt in the first. Well, of course it would have been. Because you also had, even if you're the biggest Kenny Pickett fan in the world, you weren't game planning for a backup quarterback.
At this point, you can't hold on to the narrative that their passing game stinks. Because it doesn't really matter.
14-2 what hurts this year. You're right. It does not matter. It does not matter. It's all about turnovers, Mike.
Yeah. Let's get to listen, you could have turned the ball over in that game. You can't blame the receivers for not catching the ball. It was hard to catch the damn ball. It was hard to throw the damn ball, for crying out loud. In that game, it was like survival. It's not, you can't think that you're going to execute the same way in the passing game.
Yeah, and you're right. When we look at Jalen Hurts' numbers, because he only throws for 128. Again, more total yards than Mahomes and Allen, though. I want to keep throwing that in. But A.J. had that big drop. Not taking anything away from these guys, because you're right, the weather factors in. But if you're looking at the statistics, A.J. has a big drop that if he catches, it's a different game. Devontae Smith has the drop on the penalty. That was a beautiful throw by Jalen Hurts over the middle. And then there was also the screen pass that gets called back on Becton, illegal man downfield. Yeah. If all three of those things happen, Jalen's passing yards look a lot better.
They do. My point is, it was really tough to catch the freaking ball. Puka Nacua couldn't catch the ball all the game.
Yeah,
and he's a sure-handed guy.
I mean, look, it's a different game, but Buffalo-Baltimore last night, similar weather, not as bad as in Philly. Mark Andrews drops a 2-point conversion to tie the game right in his hands. So that type of weather does do that to your receivers.
Slick rock you're trying to catch.
And it's rock
It's
solid.
hard. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some sound in here because I want to hear that. I want to get the glory moments of this game. Tarico did a good job too. This is Tarico's call on this. All right, let's get the Jalen Carter sack because the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking this is probably the biggest play of the game because he has a guy open on that play, and if Carter doesn't get to him, maybe he completes that pass.
Nakua to the top. 3rd and 2. Stafford in trouble. He's sacked. Brought down by Jalen Carter.
I mean, that's a huge play.
Massive play. And I keep going back to it, Mike. Carter played 97% of the defensive snaps. This guy is a beast, and that play you just played is on his 68th rep of the game, and he's getting after Matthew Stafford for the sack. I mean, you can't over talk about how much Jalen Carter means to this entire defense. As good as all the other guys have been, it starts with Jalen Carter in the middle.
When they line up against anybody, they have the 2 best players in football. One on offense and one on defense.
You talking about Saquon?
Yeah. I mean, really.
Dude.
How do you be – like, that's such an advantage. You got the 2 best players on the field.
Dude, how good is Saquon Barkley, man? I mean, watching him run down the field – I mean, I don't know if you saw it. They posted the highlight of his 78-yard touchdown run on Twitter without any audio other than the crowd. Did you see this, Ray? And you just hear the pop of the crowd once they realize he's gone. It gives you chills, man.
Did you see the screenshot of Hurts putting his 2 hands up in the air before Barkley's even gone like 10 yards?
No,
just
he just
knowing he's
knew
going to
it.
house it.
Lane Johnson did that earlier in the game with the 62-yarder.
It's incredible, man.
Yeah, they know. They know. they know once he's gotten through that hole, that it's over. Especially like the footing. What are they going to do? Is some cornerback going to pivot and zero in and tackle? It's not going to happen. All right, let's get because I want to give Hurts some credit here because he seems to make a throw like this all the time. Now this is a important moment of the game. It's 4th and 4. They need to convert this. There's 8:55 left in the game. And this is a play. It's going to eventually give them the field goal and a touchdown lead. So here it is, 4th and 4, Jalen Hurts.
Spread formation. To the each side. Hurts throws on time. It's caught by A.J. Brown for the first down.
All right, now that's a monster play. It's 4th and 4. It wasn't a long throw, but it had to be delivered.
It's a big throw, man. You're right. In that weather, on a 4th down, on a play you have to have, he threw a strike, and A.J. catches it, which is not easy in that weather yesterday. Jalen makes plays when he has to, Mike. We've been talking about this for weeks, and I know that there were times where we were questioning the passing offense. You can't argue with 14-2 when Jalen Hurts is your quarterback this season. This is the formula that works. Don't turn the ball over. You keep hitting the running attack, and the passing game will be there when you need it.
I'm looking at our screen here. And after a win like this, there are 2 of the calls that we have on hold. One is concerned with the offense. The other is scared of Washington and Jaden Daniels. Like, it's amazing to me how people talk themselves into being scared about stuff. Let's go to the text board, Ray. What are they saying on the text board?
Yeah, Mo from Warrington checked in with us and pretty much is going back to last week. Like, we should have known this was going to be an absolute waxing for the running game. Didn't the last snowball show us anything that was a masterclass from Shady? And it was also against, ironically, of course, Matthew Stafford. Mo from Warrington telling you that last week we had it all right and all figured out leading into this one anyways.
All right, let's get to the calls. Robert in Collegeville, our first call of the day is going to be concerned with the offense. Robert, you're on the – go ahead, buddy.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Hey, 2 other big plays. One was Josh Sweat when he blows up Kyron Williams in the backfield on 3rd down, and CJ in the second drive that kept it to 13-10, I believe.
Yeah, he shot the guy. He was unblocked, and he came in there and made that stop.
Play.
Yep.
Huge play. Hey, guys, so obviously Saquon is, I would say he saved the season. He saved Sirianni's job. He saved Kellen Moore's job. Kellen Moore had probably one of the worst game plans I've seen in the snow when everything is working for you. that drop back in the end zone that led to the safety. What you guys thought about that? Like,
It was probably the wrong call since the quarterback was hurt and he had just put the brace on. He came back and his mobility wasn't good.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah, the only thing, Robert, the only thing in Kellen Moore's defense on that play, they snapped it from the 8-yard line. So I know people are saying, oh, well, he's dropping back in his own end zone. They're from the 8. So you don't expect him to get sacked in the end zone when you're snapping the ball from the 8. I wouldn't have called that play inside the 5.
He's going shotgun there.
He was.
Yeah, but that's another thing, right? I don't want to get to Jalen because I know he was hurt and everything, but I was just not. The game plan yesterday was really, really questionable.
Yeah, I got Robert. I got to be honest with you. I don't know what more. What did you expect to have done in that weather?
Before you cut me off, just one.
Yeah,
thing.
go ahead.
How is it possible that we haven't now gone an entire season? We have the best running back playing behind the best offensive line, and we still haven't figured out how to punch him in from the 1 or the 2-yard line. Every team in the NFL, that's a gimme play. And now I've seen Saquon be stuffed because the formation that we run in is just so dumb. We line up in shotgun. We line him right next to you. The defense shoots the gaps, and then we hand it to him right down the middle. It's been happening the entire season. And now when we couldn't do the tush push, when we know, he's hurt, we don't have any other play from the 1. Are you kidding me? I've seen every team score touchdowns. I mean,
I got you. They were in tush push formation on the false start, right?
Yeah. Did they win the game? Because Robert's making me upset.
They won the game. Listen, everybody wants to cover every base here. I'm telling you, that game was a game of survival. It's not a game where you go, the offensive coordinator had a bad game plan. You couldn't do much. It's like it's a different canvas.
And to Robert's point, real quick, when they were on the goal line, they were from the 2-yard line, and Hurts is in the shotgun. I think part of the reason he's in the shotgun there is they didn't trust the knee for him to get under center to then get back to be able to hand it off to Saquon Barkley. Like, I didn't love being in the shotgun there, but if the knee's messed up, sometimes it's hard to get there.
Sometimes you go too far, though. The knee's messed up. You still got to run the damn play. That's the most successful. Can't worry about the knee at that point, can you?
Yeah, but I'm saying
you worry about the tush push with his knee. Like, that's what they were saying. Oh, you can't tush push that. Well, call it anyway.
They were going to do the tush push, but from the 2-yard line when he's in shotgun, I felt like he probably didn't trust that he could get to the handoff. When you're under center, to be able to get to the handoff with the knee in the snow could have been the reason for the call.
That's overthinking it. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
The Philadelphia 70. Pulls it and keeps it and takes off for the first down. Through a tackle, it Hurts on the run. He might go. Jalen Hurts, touchdown, Philadelphia. 44 for the opening score.
All right, it's the Mike Missanelli Show. You know, the thing about people, these national people that keep going down to this narrative that, oh, the Seagull offense, their passing game, and they do it every week. They do it every week, but they're never held accountable. Like they hold on to that premise because eventually it's going to hit. It's like playing a number on roulette. Like you keep playing it, you keep losing, but eventually it's going to hit, and when it hits, you go, "See, I told you." Like they never have accountability when it doesn't play out the way they say. Oh, you know, the Eagles passing game is going to trip them up. Might trip them up this week, but it doesn't trip them up. And next week, well, you know, this Eagle passing offense may trip them up, but then it doesn't trip them up. And they're never wrong, basically. They carry the same narrative. So, like, are they going to go through this? I guarantee you, if they play in the Super Bowl, here comes the narrative. Well, the passing game might hurt them in this game.
I just don't get why it's only, though, with the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Josh Allen threw for 127.
He's a better passer.
But he wasn't yesterday.
Well, but they look at the overall ability of a guy, and they go, okay, I got Mahomes here, I got Josh Allen here, I got Jaden Daniels. They're all three of them are better passers than Jalen Hurts. We can agree to that. You can't compare. You can't say that, well, Jalen Hurts is just as good as those guys. He's not when you throw the ball. My point is, eventually you got to take inventory that it doesn't matter that Jalen Hurts isn't Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. They never take it. They never grasp it.
They're different style. Look, Josh Allen also has the ability to run like Jalen Hurts does. Patrick Mahomes, we've seen him scramble, but he's not a running quarterback like Jalen is. Look,
let me ask you this. Would you rather have Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes over Jalen Hurts? Of course you would.
Yes.
Would you rather have Jaden Daniels? Probably.
But when we're talking about this Eagles team, you're right. It doesn't matter. They win football games with Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback. They have won consistently with Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback. Now, the one issue I am a little bit concerned about, though, is the knee. Because Jalen Hurts, what he is, that +1 in the running game. And we heard it coming back from break. Ray plays the 44-yard touchdown of Jalen Hurts. But him just simply being a threat helps open up holes for Saquon Barkley. If he's not a threat on Sunday, if he can't run the football because of that knee, and we'll get more throughout the week, that is a concern because now you've taken away an X factor that Jalen Hurts has that a lot of these other quarterbacks don't have, is the ability to run. He would have to beat you with his arm. So that is a concern. Let's hope he's all right. All we heard was he avoided a major injury, but we don't know if he's going to be 100%.
I don't know, man. They got the best running game in football, and they've got a defense that's maybe the best. And they always boast the two best players on the field. I go, why does nobody ever take inventory of that? Like, I just don't understand it. It's the same rhetoric after every game. Well, now here come the Commanders. So you back a passing game. They're much better than the Commanders. They're a better team than the Commanders. The Commanders are going to have to come here and win an NFC title game. Now, from what you've seen of the Eagles, do you see that happening?
No.
No, it only happens in people's minds because that they protect themselves by saying, "Oh, I don't know, they could lose," so they don't get overly devastated if that result does happen.
And I got line movement already. Eagles opened up as 4.5-point favorites on FanDuel. They are now up to a 5.5-point favorite.
Well, there you go. I mean, this is this Rams all over again.
It is.
All right. All right. So. When you watch the game, it's funny because when I watch the game, I go, they're not losing this game. And even when the Rams are coming down the field, but it's weird about me because I'm confident yet neurotic. Like I can't just sit there and watch the game. I have to get up, like during all right, they'll go to a commercial, and I'll have to wash dishes, or yesterday. When he went to a commercial, I go, okay, I can get like 3 shovelfuls of snow in. So I put the coat on, I go out, shh, and I get a strip of my driveway done, and I go back in. I got to be up. I got to be walking around.
See, you
when
should
I watch the game.
You coming off of a recent back procedure, you should not be shoveling snow.
No, I was fine. I was fine. But see, my theory was I can't let it get too deep.
Yeah, you got to just pay those kids that did your leach.
No, I got a snowblower, but I didn't want to take it out. But last night, is this a violation? Last night at 1:30 in the morning, I hear my neighbor
Using the snowblower.
using the snowblower at 1:30. Is that a violation?
It may be, but I don't have any sympathy for you because I didn't sleep last night at all because of the newborn. So no sympathy for anybody. I'm operating just on adrenaline.
No, I'm just thinking, like, and he's normally a really good guy. I'm thinking, well, that's unusual that he would do something like that.
Well, maybe his wife had to go to work or something in the morning. Who knows?
Well, then
But
get
yeah,
up,
it's a little-
get up at 6.
Yeah, a little late to do that.
Like, come on, man.
A little late to do it.
All right.
You know-
and you know what? I got this group of buddies that are Eagle neurotic fans. Like the gang of 6, I call them, right? And so I tweak them during the whole game. Like, sphincters tight. Are they tight? Because I play right into it because they're all scared to death. And I sit there confidently.
Yeah, see, the reason the sphincter got a little tight was because after Saquon hits that 78-yard touchdown, everybody, including the Eagles, think the game's over. So when you have that emotional roller coaster where now all of a sudden it's not and the Rams are coming down the field, that's where you get a little nervous. They have that let up.
When he scored that touchdown, I went out and did 2 strips of shoveling. And then came back in and go, oh, whoa, wait, what's going on? All right, 610-632-0975 back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles to the NFC title game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Birds got past the Rams 28-22 behind another 200-yard game from Saquon Barkley. Barkley had a 62-yard touchdown in the first half and what looked like a game-clinching 78-yard touchdown run late in that game. The defense did have to hold serve in those late moments of the game, turning the Rams over on downs in the final minute of the game after getting 2 second-half turnovers. A big defensive effort for the Birds. And now, despite the conditions, the Eagles able to prevail. And Jalen Hurts talked post-game to NBC's Melissa Stark about playing in those conditions.
I don't know if it'll snow next week, but rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go. We'll be ready to go.
Do you love playing in the snow?
I love playing football. How about that?
They're going to have to be ready to go against a Commanders team that will be coming to Philadelphia for the NFC Championship game. The Commanders upsetting the top-seed Lions on Saturday means the Birds get to host the NFC Championship game. On the AFC side, both the Chiefs and Bills advanced to the AFC Championship game. Elsewhere in Philadelphia, 76ers lost both games this weekend while the Flyers picked up a win over the Devils. This update is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship coming January 25th, the biggest fighting event ever to hit Philadelphia. Knuckle Mania 5 from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship Saturday, January 25th at Wells Fargo Center. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Go back to the text board. Ray, a text on Jalen Hurts, of all people. What a saying.
People quite positive on Hurts. Did we win last night? The Philadelphia fan base doesn't deserve Jalen Hurts. I hope he gets traded to a team where the fans actually appreciate him.
Oh, stop now.
I can count 22 teams in the NFL right now that would love to have Jalen. We are being too harsh.
Yeah, see, stop with that. That's going too far because that goes into the old mindset. Oh, we drive our athletes out of town. No, we don't. It's legitimate concern that they don't have on-point passing game to the novice eye. But when you dig deeper, for this team, it doesn't matter. I don't know. Maybe it'll matter in the future. Who knows? But for this team, you could just study what they are, study how they play. You don't need a superstar 300-yard passer every game to win games.
And I really think a majority of Eagles fans have come around. I don't think it's a majority. When that texter says that we don't deserve Jalen Hurts, I think a majority of people in this city appreciate exactly what you're saying now, that they win football games with Jalen Hurts. All the guy does is win.
That being said, if they do happen to lose next week, then they'll bail out on Jalen Hurts. This is a very tenuous relationship and hold that he has on the fan base. Let's face it. Because if the lack of passing game prevents them from winning, which it hasn't so far, but if it does, they'll bail on him. You know that.
I don't know, man. It's the same thing with Sirianni that we've talked about. And we'll
bail on him, too.
Yeah, I would think at this point, regardless of what happens, now I'm expecting the Eagles to win on Sunday. I'm expecting them to be in New Orleans in a couple of weeks. But regardless of what happens, I would think that Hurts and Sirianni have both won over the critics. They should have won over the critics by this point.
Not if they lose to Washington.
Well, it's not going to happen. It's going to be a
really. Now, if they lose the Super Bowl, maybe they'll be disappointed. But the ultimate disappointment is if they lose to this team at home. And you know that the fan base will bail on both Sirianni and Hurts. And it's just natural. It's what the fan base is going to do. Because those guys, even now, still don't have that. They don't have a lock hold on the audience here.
The crazy thing to me, though, is for years, going all the way back to the Buddy Ryan days, a majority of this fan base wanted what? They wanted a team that ran the football and had one of the best defenses in the NFL. It's exactly what we have now. We got the best defense in the league. You got a rushing attack that cannot be stopped. And it's not just Saquon. Obviously, he plays a huge part in it. It's not just the offensive line. Obviously, they play a huge part in it. It's Jalen Hurts. You can't underestimate what he does in the rushing attack. Not even with his legs, just the fact that he's a threat.
If they didn't have Saquon Barkley and they didn't have that defense the way it's playing now, what do you think people would be saying? What do you think that they'd be wanting more of? Hurts to win games like other quarterbacks win games. But that's what would happen.
I agree with you, but if they didn't have Saquon Barkley, because we've seen in previous seasons what this team did without Saquon Barkley, guess what? They still won games. Jalen Hurts still wins games. The guy, since he's become the starter, has done nothing but win.
He had better passing numbers at one point of his career than he does now.
He did, but is that a factor of Jalen Hurts can't throw the football, or is it because this team has made a conscious decision that we are going to be a run-first football team?
Obviously, one goes hand in hand. Maybe they don't trust him enough, but when you have Barkley, you don't want to throw 10 more passes and subtract 10 more runs. You just don't want to do that.
Yeah, you just got to keep feeding Saquon.
All right, let's go to Ish in Levittown. No, Ish, you hang in there because right now I got to tell you that the Mike Missanelli Show, you're listening to it on WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia. It's a Beasley Media Group station, and we're broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. All right, now Ish joins us. Ish, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good.
Hi, Bill. Congratulations, Bill. And I want to talk about the win yesterday. I really can't even criticize the game plan. At this point in the playoffs, it's not the regular season. A win is a win. despite the passing yards and all that, Jalen had some good passes, especially to A.J. Brown, and he had a couple drop passes, and it was crazy. It was like a blizzard out there yesterday.
It's insane to think that you're going to be able to move the ball consistently in that weather. And really,
Exactly.
you can't apply the same criteria to that game with that weather.
You can't. And there's a couple people like Jalen Carter, Nick Sirianni, and the defense. But I think the one person that we have to congratulate and say who basically spoke into the future is Bill Colarudo. I think the way he was talking about Dan Campbell made a bunch of mistakes, and we're going against Washington. We're going to win this game. We're actually going to blow them out, I think.
Where did Dan Campbell make all his mistakes?
Oh, don't get me started. I'll back you up on this one.
The quarterback sucked. The quarterback choked for them. That wasn't Dan Campbell.
Mike, there was questionable calls in that play.
Yeah,
we have to admit.
The quarterback turned the ball over. That's what made him lose.
But Bill has been spot on. And
who cares? The Bill's been spot on about Dan Campbell. This isn't about Dan Campbell.
Keep it going, Ish. I've been spot on about Dan Campbell. What else? Nick Sirianni. Keep it going, baby.
Everybody. And like I said, I think we're going to beat the Commanders. We're going to blow them out. It's like we did.
Yeah, they can blow them out. Stop it.
It's going to be. We'll see what happens. But real quick, I know we're reacting to the Eagles, but the Dan Campbell over the top aggressiveness, Mike.
Stop it.
That seeped into that team.
Why would you need to hold on to that anymore? It's not an issue. They lost,
and the reason they lost
is the reason why they lost.
And the reason they lost is because his macho, overly aggressive, which I've called reckless. That seeps into your football team. It seeps into the decisions Jared Goff made. It seeped into the decision to run a trick play where you had your wide receiver throw the ball down the field in a 10-point game as you are driving and they can't stop your rushing attack and you have your wide receiver throw a pass. It's that over-the-top recklessness.
So who was that? Was that him
came
or
back
was
to
that
haunt him
Ben
again.
Johnson, the world's most foremost assistant coach who's going to be hired for a head coaching job? Who runs it? It starts with Campbell?
It starts with Campbell. It's the over-the-top aggressiveness that seeps into that entire football team, and they're done, man. They are done.
Their defense finally, the attrition finally hurt them in that game, right? They would have been a tougher out than the Commanders, in my view.
I agree with you. I agree they would have been a tougher out.
So in that way, the Eagles got a little lucky.
Well, they didn't get lucky.
They got a little lucky.
Dan Campbell lost the game.
And Detroit fell in their face.
And I can't wait. I think Dan Campbell's going to make an appearance at the news at noon today, and I can't wait for it. Can't wait.
This guy is just...
Dude, I had a great weekend, man. I had the birth of my child. Then I watched Dan Campbell's over-aggressiveness come back to haunt him like I said it would. And then the Philadelphia Eagles win and go to the NFC Championship.
Campbell lost that game, right?
Can you rank the three moments for us from this weekend?
I don't want to do that because if my wife's listening, she may get upset when I rank all three.
Okay. Sounds good. I know the Eagles came in third, but I was curious whether it was the kid or Campbell losing.
I actually texted Ray that a couple days ago after the loss. I said, I'm not sure. Birth of my child or Dan Campbell losing in the divisional round. No, obviously the birth of my child, if anyone's listening.
Sure. Yeah, you can say it. I don't believe it.
But, Mike, I'm telling you, man.
Did you walk in with a protein shake in the bottle?
No, not yet. Not yet. But I did have a lot of kind bars at the hospital. You're right.
You did?
But you are underestimating. See, people ask me a lot, why do you love Nick Sirianni but you hate Dan Campbell? They're the same guy. They are not the same guy. Because Dan Campbell is 100 miles an hour, reckless. That seeps into your team. Nick Sirianni is not just a rah-rah guy. We learned that last week. Tim McManus wrote a great article about how he connects with his players. They know how to win football games in tough weather, like you saw yesterday, win close games in the playoffs. The playoffs are different, man, and this is why Dan Campbell blew it last year, and he blew it again on Saturday. They don't understand how to win this time of year. Nick Sirianni and the Eagles do. That's it. End of story.
Man, I could only imagine if Nick Sirianni was the head coach of a team with the quarterback threw 3 interceptions, the entire defense was banged up, the way you'd spin that one to not be Sirianni's fault, and the way you've spun this to be Dan Campbell's fault.
Well, let's talk about this.
It's really amazing.
Well, why do you think
he fits the narrative?
Whoa. Why are they all banged up?
Because he's ultra aggressive?
You're damn right. Dan Campbell beats the hell out of those guys.
Oh, stop.
He beats the hell out of those guys. There's a part of head coaching.
Stop it.
Mike, there is a part of head coaching.
I am done talking about Dan Campbell on the line. It doesn't matter anymore. Would you stop?
All right, well, then let's talk about Nick Sirianni. Knowing what buttons to push, knowing when you need to practice hard, knowing when you have to get guys off their feet.
You go half-cocked. There you go off. It's like...
There is a reason why we tout this team's health every single season at the end of the year. The head coach knows what buttons to push. Dan Campbell doesn't. It's 100 miles an hour all the time.
Dan Campbell is not your coach. Shut the hell up about it.
Oh, dude,
relax.
I'm not going to shut up about it. I'm enjoying
Jesus
it.
God, I've never seen such an obsession.
I'm enjoying it.
What's the matter with you?
And I'm going to enjoy Sirianni love shortly as well.
Oh, let's go to Lewis in Pennsauken. Lewis, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Lewis.
Hey, how you doing, fellas?
What's up, Lewis?
Listen, I want to preface this by saying that we're going to win Sunday, or when is it? Sunday, right? So I'm not saying that we're not going to win, but what I'm saying to you is that it's not going to be a walk in the park. And one of the things
what does it matter whether it's going to be a walk in the park?
Because there's a chance we can lose.
Well, there's a chance you can lose any time you play.
No. But look, can you hear me out, Mike, real quick?
Go ahead.
You talked about the +1 Jalen Hurts presents to the defense because of the fact that he's a runner. Well, guess what? Jalen Daniels presents the same problem. This is not Matthew Stafford. This is not. This is a running court. He's one of maybe 4 quarterbacks in this whole league that presents this same problem. And so, therefore, remember this. This is what I'm saying. It's not going to be a walk in the park. I listened to him say after the second game.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you doing this? Obviously, you can lose the game. Obviously, it's not going to be a walk in the park. Like, I don't know what your point is here.
No, the point is that here's what I'm saying. Listen, there was a lot of Detroit Lions fans thinking that they were going to run. That probably had.
But why, Lewis? Who's the better team?
Oh, see, or who's the better team? The Lions or the
No. Forget the Lions. Who is the better team in this game?
Oh, the Eagles.
Okay, why are you doing this to yourself? Of course they could lose. We all know they can lose. But I'm curious to know, why are you torturing yourself like this?
Why? I'm going to be honest with you. Jalen Daniels is different, bro. I'm sorry. And I believe that he can beat us if given a chance. I don't think he's going to do it, but he's different. He's not.
Okay, so he's different. He's also a rookie. They're also 5.5-point underdog. The whole world is telling you the Eagles are a better team. Could they lose? Yeah, I guess they could lose. But my point is, like, why is it like the fear of Jaden Daniels and the Commanders overtaking the fact that you have the best team playing at home for the NFC title game? That's just what I don't understand about Philadelphia fans. Why do you talk yourself into nonsense? What do you get out of it? What are you protecting? 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Join 97.5.
7:13, Mike Missanelli. Let me just say this. Jaden Daniels, he's no joke. This is what we're hearing. Well, of course, he's no joke. All right, he's not. He's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. He is one already. In fact, you might even take him right now if you had the choice over Jalen Hurts. I get it, but he's not going to beat them by himself. All right, like it's not like you're in the backyard and you're throwing passes to yourself and you catch the pass, you throw to yourself, and you fall into a pile of leaves. That's not the way it works, right? The Eagles are the better team on both sides of the ball as far as skill players go. The quarterback is not going to beat them himself. Yes, he's a good player. But here's the thing. It's like you're at the poker table. You hold the bigger stack. If you got the bigger stack in front of you, are you more confident than the other guy? Now, that other guy could go all in and shock you, all right? But, like, to be talked into you being lesser than is what I don't get. And that's what people tend to do when it comes to these kind of things.
And as good as Jaden Daniels is, you're right. He's a stud. He's a rookie. He's going to be in this league for a long time probably doing these things. He put up 45 points against the Detroit Lions. That is not happening against this Eagles defense. It's just not. You go back to Week 16 when they put up 36 and beat the Eagles, 22 points in the fourth quarter. That was an outlier. That is not happening. This defense is too good for Jaden Daniels to have that type of performance at Lincoln Financial Field in the end of January. So, yes, you got a game plan for him. Anything can happen any given Sunday. Eagles are the better team.
I get Terry McLaurin's a good player. Zacchaeus? Like Brian Robinson's a nice player. Is he Bark? Okay, Jaden Daniels is a great player or a good player. I get it, but he's no joke. Oh, I know he's no joke. If he was a joke, the Eagles would be favored double digits, right? Instead, they're only favored 5.5.
Well, a big loss for the Commanders, too. They lost their starting guard.
Cosme's out.
Yeah, and you're going to have to try to stop Jalen Carter now with a backup guard. Good luck with that. I mean, good luck with that with your entire starting offensive line.
Could it happen? Yeah, the Eagles are better, and if the Commanders win this game, it would be a colossal upset, in my view. So, your confidence level should be pretty high at this point. And I always try to talk people into stop with the sky is falling stuff. It makes me nuts.
And look, I know we can't help but look ahead. It's Monday. We're not even 24 hours removed from an historic win down at Lincoln Financial Field. I'm still wanting to react to what happened yesterday. I still want to be excited about the fact that the Eagles beat the Rams in a picturesque setting.
You're right. All kinds of exciting plays. Ray, just push a button like it's the ballistic missile system. Just call one up and play it.
118 yards and adding to it. There goes Barkley into the clear through the snow all the way home. He's hit another home run against the Rams, and this one might send him to the championship game.
That was the 78-yarder.
That was awesome.
Where I went out with the shovel.
That was awesome.
I got 2 strips done.
Goosebumps. Well,
back in.
You thought the game was over.
Thought the game was over.
Everybody
in fact, I tweeted it. Good night.
Everybody thought the game was over. But then they go into that prevent defense, let the Rams come down and score. And, of course, we didn't talk about it. You know what happened after that 78-yard touchdown? Right away. Jake Elliott missed another extra point.
Yeah, he did.
So I know you don't love kickers.
I don't even. My buddy texted me after your first miss. It's like, Kicky Boy's going to be a problem today. Well, he wasn't a problem because they didn't have to extend him. Like the 44-yarder, I don't know how that wasn't blocked. He had a line drive, but they went.
And that was a big kick. It was a tie game at that point.
The 44-yarder was a big kick.
And you know what else we got to talk about?
The other ones were bops. Like, he should make those.
This may be the long snapper in me, giving credit to the long snapper and the holder. But how about Braden Mann, the punter? Some great holds. We talked about how hard it was on the receivers to catch the ball in that weather. Did you see the 2 holds Braden Mann had on some of those field goals? You got to give that guy credit. Nobody ever wants to give credit. See, you only get credit as the holder and the long snapper when you mess up. It's the only time. You have a bad snap, that's the only time we talk about it. We don't give them credit when they do their job.
I give holders and kickers credit.
So much good.
It's their job. Well, I'm going to give a guy credit because he caught the ball from center. That's your job. No matter where the snap is, you got to catch the ball. Come on.
Still should get credit. Great job, Braden, man.
Let's go to Howie. He's in Miami. Oh, my God, he's in Miami. Well, maybe I'm shoveling snow here. Howie, what's up?
Yeah, the weather is beautiful.
Yeah,
the
sure.
Eagles are beautiful in Miami, baby.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I am sick and tired of anybody talking about how Jalen Hurts did not perform yesterday. He had 5 incompletions in the whole game, and most of those incompletions were drops by the receivers. You get that head shot to Devontae Smith, and you get that drop by A.J. Brown, and all of a sudden he has 100 more yards passing and probably a touchdown to add to his 70 yards and another touchdown. So Jalen Hurts came. He was throwing dimes yesterday, and I just thought he played a great game. And, yeah, he made a couple mistakes towards the end there after he tweaked his knee, but otherwise, I mean, he's a primetime player. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think he threw dimes. He threw one. The 4th and 4 was a nice throw. I don't know that he threw dimes all game long.
The throw to A.J. Brown over the middle that he dropped, that would have continued the drive.
Yeah, that should have been caught. The back shoulder one, I don't know if people got. AJ should have caught that. It's hard to catch a ball like that when in that kind of weather. So yeah, okay, he made a couple good throws. I wouldn't call him Jalen Dimes yesterday.
Nobody's excoriating the receivers today. Everybody seems to be saying how Jalen Hurts didn't perform. All these box score watchers, but Jalen Hurts is the reason why that offense moves, and it's fantastic. You know, he's making calls at the line. Saquon's getting great runs, and a lot of those are happening because he's in shotgun with 15, 20 seconds left on the game clock, and making calls and making adjustments.
All right, was he throwing dimes? I don't know.
Well, the one that Devontae drops because the guy goes head hunting, that was a dime.
Yeah,
that was a nice pass. The one to A.J., I know it's a tough catch for A.J. Brown, but that's a perfect throw to go back shoulder there.
Yeah, tough to catch the ball there.
But
in inclement weather like that.
But if those two passes are caught, and then we talked a little bit about the screen pass that got called back on Mekhi Becton being illegally downfield, the stats would look a lot better, Mike.
Okay. All right. He played well enough to win. That's what I'll say.
And he usually does.
Beyond the dimes. And I've already emphasized the 4th and 4. That's a small pass, but it had to be thrown. In the back of your mind, you go, I can't miss this throw. I can't miss. And there's pressure with a 4th and 4 throw, and he delivered it. 610-632-0975. We have a text that's criticizing Jalen on the other side. We'll get to that after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles on to the NFC title game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Birds got past the Rams 28-22 behind another 200-yard game on the ground from Saquon Barkley. Barkley had a 62-yard touchdown in the first half and what looked like a game-clinching 78-yard touchdown run. It did end up being the difference, but the defense needed a last-minute stop against the Rams, turning them over on downs. After they also had 2 second-half turnovers. It was a lot with the weather to get that victory over the Rams yesterday. And after the game, Jalen Hurts spoke to NBC's Melissa Stark about playing in those conditions.
I don't know if it'll snow next week, but rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go. We'll be ready to go.
Do you love playing in the snow?
I love playing football. How about that?
You get to play football for another week this season at least. The NFC Championship game in Philadelphia next weekend against the Washington Commanders, who upset the top-seed Lions in Detroit on Saturday. On the AFC side, both the Chiefs and Bills advanced to the AFC Championship game. And elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, the 76ers lost both games this weekend while the Flyers picked up a win over the Devils. This update's brought to you by Cordell & Cordell. Cordell, a domestic litigation firm, is a partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
11:27. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. That's right, you just heard Bill's commercial about tonight's college football national championship game, or as I call it, the Mike Missanelli hate ball. If it were up to me, I would send Satan out there to flip the coin at the 50-yard line.
Who do you hate more? Is the question.
I tried to ask myself that question, and believe it or not, it's equal hate.
Equal hate?
I probably hate Ohio State a little more than Notre Dame.
But you're not going to watch the game tonight, are you?
I have no interest in the game. Really, like, it's two teams that I loathe. Like, it's hard to watch a game where you don't have anything invested except you want both teams to lose. You know?
Yeah, it is hard. You don't know what to do.
Like, I have no interest. I don't care. I don't even care what the result is or how people play in the game. Like, I have no interest in the game whatsoever.
There's just not much else on right now.
The winner gets glory, and I go, I resent either team would get glory.
So what's Mike Missanelli going to do tonight? You just going to block everything out?
I'm going to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm reruns.
By the way,
I don't know. I find it. Listen, I find a way to watch TV that's non-sports. I'm really good at that because like you get obsessed with sports. You want to I don't know. For me, I want to experience something else. Like, if I'm invested in a game, like the NFL games, I'm invested. I'm going to watch them. But tonight, I have no interest in watching that game.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch it either because, I'll be on baby duty, I'm sure, having come to work a couple days after the baby was born.
Well, you can watch the game, put the baby right on your legs there as you're in your Barco lounger.
Yeah, that's kind of how I
watch the game.
That's kind of how I watch the Eagles.
Yeah, you got the in-laws. Are the in-laws over?
They're there right now.
There you go.
I just found out my father-in-law is shoveling our driveway, so.
See that?
Shout out to him.
So this morning you did not shovel the driveway.
I had to get out of here, man. I had to get out. I had to get to Ballard Kinwood. I had to help with the baby in the morning.
How did you get out of your driveway if you didn't shovel it out?
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't
really
that bad. No, it's just bad that you worry about walking on it after things melt and then refreezes and all that. The melt and refreeze. Dealt with that a lot as a personal injury lawyer. Melt and refreeze, man. But listen to this. Before we go back to the phones, listen to this. I think they talked about this a little on the morning show, but this was a tweet from Trey Wingo. So there were 4 games this weekend. Most total yards in the Houston Chiefs game. The Texans, Chiefs won the game. Most total yards in the Commanders-Lions game. Lions had the most yards, Commanders won the game. Most total yards in the Eagles-Rams game. Rams had the most total yards, Eagles won the game. Most total yards last night in the Ravens-Bills. Ravens had the most total yards, Bills won the game. All 4 teams that had the most total yards in their game lost.
Why did they lose? They turned it over.
Turnovers, man. That's what it's all about.
Turn it over.
That's why when you look at Jalen Hurts' stats, you got to look at that 0 turnover, man. That is important, especially in that weather yesterday where you saw Matthew Stafford get strip sacked. You saw Kyron Williams get the ball punched out. Jalen Hurts protected the football. I know people wanted to see him take less sacks. So did I. But it was better to take the sack than put the ball in danger.
This is why I resent people who are going to tell us how scared they are of Jaden Daniels. Really, I go, okay, all right. Jaden Daniels, he's a pretty good player. He's having a good year. Like, look at what your team is. All right, let's go back to the text board. Text criticizing Jalen Hurts. What we got, Ray?
Eagles could have scored 40 if it wasn't for the bad sacks and that false start on the goal line. Missed me with the bad offensive game plan. People are just fishing now.
Do people know that it was snowing out there? What? Come on, man.
Wait, when he said, miss me with the bad offensive game plan, so he's blaming Hurts, not Kellen Moore. Is what
correct.
That point is.
I think that was in response to the one caller that was Robert, I think, was upset with the offensive game plan.
And when he talks about the false start at the goal line on the tush push, that was on Jalen Hurts? No. Lane Johnson jumped off sides. And what I heard after the game was they did the simulated snap on the defense. The Rams illegally pretended that they were calling the snap. They were saying hut, 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 which is illegal in the NFL.
Why didn't they call that? What, the officials couldn't hear it?
No, but we heard that afterward. I think it was, I don't know if it was Jalen. Somebody said post-game they simulated the snap on the tush push.
I get it, but how could an official not know that?
Probably because the quarterback wasn't Patrick Mahomes on the offense.
Oh, see, this is where you go.
Listen, man, I don't like complaining about the refs. If I didn't mind the non-call when Jalen Hurts got hit out of bounds. In a normal game, I don't think you call that. If that was Patrick Mahomes, that call would certainly have been
my
thrown.
God, you're falling to the same trap.
Mike,
everybody
it was a
else
tough watch, man.
Patrick Mahomes, they favored the league's fixed.
It was a tough thing to watch. And honestly, and I tweeted this out when it happened, Patrick Mahomes, you are one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. Don't ruin your legacy with that BS Bush League, pretending to go out of bounds, then getting tapped and then flopping all over the place. It's ridiculous.
You know what's really funny about you? Like the same crap that Chase Utley would do on a baseball field was admired. And yet
He's not
Mahomes,
flopping.
that's gamesmanship, what he does.
No,
if
it's
he
ridiculous.
can sneak a call out of there, it's good.
No, this is why I hate it. It's not gamesmanship.
It's gamesmanship.
You are given more protection than anybody else on the field. I understand it.
Take advantage of it.
You don't take advantage of it by flopping, Mike. You don't take advantage of it by flopping. The NFL has a real problem here with these late slides.
You would appreciate any one of your players going the extra mile to win. If they want to circumvent the rules a little bit, they want to do a little trickery.
No, not
you
like
would
that.
admire that.
Not like that. If Jalen Hurts pulled that crap on the sidelines, pretending to go out of bounds and then flopping, I'd be calling him out for it.
Laugh at
you
this.
don't win like that.
All the Mahomes hate that came out this weekend. Are you not getting the best AFC title game here?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great.
Then what are you complaining about?
I'm complaining because the NFL has put rules in place to protect the quarterback. You should not abuse it like Patrick Mahomes is abusing it.
Oh, my God.
Can I attack one word that you used?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're hurting your legacy. Are you telling me that when Patrick Mahomes is enshrined in the Hall of Fame, you're going to be sitting there, well, that one divisional round game where he flopped against the Texans?
If he continues to do it, yes. If he continues to do it, it's making me hate Patrick Mahomes. Because as good as he is, you don't need to do that crap.
You've got to be kidding me.
It's ridiculous.
It's like hate LeBron because he flopped a couple times. Appreciate greatness.
There's no place for flopping.
Get caught up in this nonsense that you get caught up in.
There's no place for flopping, especially when you're Patrick Mahomes.
You get caught up in the silliest things.
What's the matter with you?
Let's go to Rich.
Be better, Patrick.
Rich on 97.5 The Fanatic. Rich.
Hello, good morning, Michael.
Hello, Rich.
Great. Congratulations to you, Bill.
I appreciate it, man.
Bill's off today. I can tell. He's deprived of sleep. He's saying some like crazy, nonsensical stuff.
I didn't have any sleep, but it's all good.
So, Michael, I wanted to just take a brief moment and say that it feels good to see again. If you'll give me a moment, it's the organization. This is what I want to do. I want to throw roses at the feet of the organization because it doesn't matter what they're faced with; they seem to overcome it. I'm of the mindset that this is going to be a retread of the Dick Vermeil 1980s return to New Orleans. We're going to get retribution. We're going to get retribution on the Commanders for the late season loss. We're going to host, we're hosting the NFC Championship, and I think Destiny is calling the Eagles. I also think that Sirianni is a player's coach. He's getting these guys ready on the game day. So I know it's not splashy. Again, we're talking about it. They're doing exactly what they need to do to win these games. Their eyes is on the Super Bowl. And we're short-sighted. Forget about all that. You know, the other part, too, David, or Michael, if you'll give me a moment, is the narrative, the low-hanging fruit. I don't think we need to feed into the narrative. I think that we can rise above it easily. And I believe that, again, that's what this organization is doing, showing the rest
I can't disagree with anything you just said, and especially the organization. You know, when you look at the record and the playoff run that they've been on, it's pretty successful. And so, it's tough for me to give the organization like flowers. Like I always mistrust owners, but they've created a pretty good situation here.
Mike, again, if we're just doing a quick comparison, the success that we're facing right now, I don't have any doubts whatsoever that they're going to win handily next week. Well, even if it's tight, I believe that we're going to be going back to the Super Bowl in just 5 years, 2 Super Bowls, Super Bowl appearances. I'm getting chills just thinking about the success that we're going to see.
I think you're right on. Like I can't say anything against what that guy just. He made great points on the overall success of the organization, the head coach, and whatever he does, he's doing it successfully.
Listen,
And he's not Dan
You got to
Campbell.
stop. You got to stop qualifying your Nick Sirianni praise. Just give him his praise. You don't have to throw in whatever he does. Just give him his praise. No longer qualified.
I guess you're right. I don't know. 610-632-0975. We have a caller on hold who's going to make the point that Jalen Hurts stinks. I love it. Only in Philadelphia. This is why Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio is so good. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Birds insider Andrew DiCecco on Philly.
.41. I got to call out people who come off ridiculous to me, right? So I look at my Twitter. My Twitter's MikeMiss25. And this guy he's from Colorado. He must be a displaced Philadelphian because he's got I always look at the picture. And he's got a little baby dressed in Eagle gear. He's got an Eagle jersey on. So he's raising his kids to be Eagle fans, just like you, Bill. You put an Eagle jersey on him, right, on her right now.
I respect it.
All And so this is what he says. And this is a 3-tweet series. Every Super Bowl run will have one game where a quarterback has to win it for his team. The Eagles have the best 53-man roster top to bottom, no question. But if we need Jalen to come through, to take us over the top, he has shown nothing this year to give us confidence. Okay? Tweet number 2. He holds the ball like a deer in headlights. He takes bad sacks. Decision-making is slow. It allows defense extra time to shoot their gaps and blow up a play. His option game is always run first, which is predictable. Only thing that has worked a couple times is a quick screen. Third, hopefully, Saquon and the defense can take us to another title, but we need Jalen to step up or step out. And here's the killer statement. I would take a hungry and healthy backup quarterback over a hurt, psychologically compromised starting quarterback who's barely making it through.
All right. So there's one stat that I could throw out there that just completely destroys that argument. Do you know that the Philadelphia Eagles finished 7th in the NFL this year in yards per attempt when it came to throwing the football? So I get that they didn't run the ball, or excuse me, they didn't throw the ball a lot because they ran it so often and so efficiently. But when they did throw the ball, they're 7th in the NFL in yards per attempt. Jalen Hurts did not have a very bad season throwing the football. You're just looking at the yards. You're not looking at the yards per attempt. They didn't throw the ball a lot. In fact, they were last in the NFL in passing attempts. We're so focused on the total yards passing instead of looking at the total yards offensively or the total yards that Jalen Hurts also provides in the running game. What Jalen Hurts does in the running game that helps open up holes being that +1. The guy wins. That's the only stat you should be looking at. And we've seen it, Mike. How many times this season did Jalen make a big play when they needed it? I'm forgetting the game now. You remember when he hit Dallas Goedert? I mean, this may be going all the way back against the Saints. Remember he hit Dallas Goedert on that crossing route?
Yep.
That helped win the game for him. That's a great throw by Jalen. You know what else? You just reminded me of it. On Saquon Barkley's first touchdown run, Jalen Hurts comes to the line of scrimmage, and he's barking something out. Either he was changing the play or he was changing the blocking scheme, whatever he was doing, and then he hands it off to Saquon, who takes it to the house. You can't ignore that. That is all a part of being a quarterback.
Here's the question I ask people. Is he hurting this team? No. So if he's not hurting this team and they are overly good, better than maybe any team left in this tournament, then why are you allowing yourself to be pulled down to a level where you're doubting whether they can win because of the quarterback? It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if they lose and he's the reason, then we'll have a conversation. Right now, we don't have that conversation. So let me get to the phones here because there's can I take Steve from Roxborough first? I want to take Steve from Roxborough first. Steve, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. How are you?
How are you today? Good morning.
How are you?
Bill, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, my question about Jalen is, I don't know how you not hold him accountable for, them sacks, some of them. You know what I mean, Mike?
Yeah, I get it. They won the game. If the sacks prevented them from winning a game, you would have a conversation.
All right. Let me ask this then. How is a quarterback that's supposedly not as good as Jalen pass for 300-some yards? Do you blame that on the defense?
Are you talking about Stafford?
Yeah.
Why didn't he get a lot of those? He got like 70 of those when they were playing soft.
Yeah.
Where did he light it up? Where was Nakua in the first half?
Right, the first half, but it's a tire game, Mike.
Yeah, but you have to admit that they were in a behind mode. The Eagles did not want to get beat for a quick touchdown, so they were in prevent. They got 75 yards that way.
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm not a hater of Jalen. I just hold him accountable sometimes, just like we do Elliott for missing extra points.
Accountable for what? Okay, if the safety was the 2 points that made them lose, then he's accountable. But when you're ignoring the fact that he completed the 4th and 4, you're ignoring the pass that Bill he made several really good throws to help them win that game.
Okay, so if we're talking Mike, what if they lose that game? I'm Monday night.
They didn't lose the game.
Okay, but they had a shot to lose that game.
They didn't lose the game, Steve.
If he played better, wouldn't have been.
Steve, you don't have an argument if they didn't lose the game.
All right, I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying you got to hold.
Well,
this
why
team
are you
accountable
pulling yourself down? This is what I don't get about Philadelphia fans.
Back-to-back games. He didn't.
They
play well.
won both of them.
It doesn't matter, Mike.
Oh, it doesn't matter. The winning doesn't matter. I can't. What am I hearing? It doesn't matter. They won the game. What are we doing here? Yeah, if an alien rocket ship landed here and the little Zanty misfits start crawling out and they listen to Sports Talk Radio and they just heard that call, they go right back in the space capsule and get the hell out. I've never heard anything like this.
Listen, Jared Goff threw for over 300 yards in the game against the Commanders, but you know what else he did? He threw 3 interceptions. And that's a big part of the reason that the Lions lost that football game. Jalen Hurts didn't turn it over. I know we weren't happy with the sacks. I know we weren't happy with the safety. He didn't turn the ball over, and he made enough big plays to win the damn game.
Therefore, you don't have an argument because they won the game, and he did do that. If you're not satisfied with the way the Eagles won that game yesterday, I don't know what to say to you. I really don't. Yeah, the Rams got 135 yards in their last 2 drives to pump up that total. Why? Because the defense was soft. Now, listen, would I have gone after the quarterback a little more on that last drive? Probably. But Vic Fangio plays a certain way. He's not going to let you beat him long, quickly. He's just not going to do that. So, the whole thing is skewed. If you look at Stafford, where was he so dynamic during that game passing the football? Nakua had 14 targets. He caught how many balls? 5 out of 14? 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles on the NFC title game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Birds got past the Rams 28-22 behind another 200-yard game from Saquon Barkley on the ground. Barkley had a 62-yard touchdown in the first half and what looked like a game-clinching 78-yard touchdown run late in the fourth quarter. The defense had to hold serve, though, in the closing minute of that game, turning the Rams over on downs after having turned the Rams over twice with 2 turnovers in that second half. Despite all the conditions and despite the bad weather, a tough go of it sometimes, offensively, the Eagles did prevail, and Jalen Hurts talked postgame to NBC's Melissa Stark about playing through the snow.
I don't know if it'll snow next week, but rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go. We'll be ready to go.
Do you love playing in the snow?
I love playing football. How about that?
Some of the conversation this week will be about his ability to play football this Sunday after sustaining knee injury. He did return to the game. Of course, Quinyon Mitchell left the game, did not return with the shoulder injury. Both not expected to be serious, but we'll keep you updated when we hear things about that as we lead up to the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia next weekend against the Washington Commanders, who upset the top seed Lions on Saturday. On the AFC side, it's Chiefs and Bills in the AFC title game. Elsewhere, 76ers lost both games this weekend. The Flyers picked up a win over the Devils. This update is brought to you by Cordell & Cordell. Cordell, a domestic litigation firm, is a partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It's 11:55. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Let me just a little editorial comment. Has this inner excellence theme run its course finally?
I hope so.
I mean, I've never seen the media so titillated over this situation. And that they got now he comes to the game and there's the photo op with him and AJ and they're writing stories about it. And even Tirico, who doesn't say crap if he had a mouthful of it, took a shot at him yesterday. We'll play that in a little bit. But he even took a shot, a snide shot at it. I don't know. They've been romanced by this whole theme, and they can't let it go to media.
I was watching some of the pregame show on ESPN, counting down the time to get to kickoff, and Sal Pal did a whole piece about it as well.
I know.
They had the author and AJ. It was like, come on, man.
The story. I don't get it.
To me, it was a non-story.
And then he shows up, like he's milking it too. He shows up with the book. Like he couldn't put the book in a bag. He shows up with it cradled in his arm.
Yeah, that was
coming into the stadium.
That was intentional, no doubt. Yeah, I'm over it. See, me and you were different, though. I didn't think it was a big deal to begin with. I mean, I compared it to somebody who's praying on the sidelines or wearing the "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet.
I thought it was a moment that he wanted to get attention from, which is fine. But like this, like all of a sudden, this guy is like he's Moses with the tablets. You know? Like,
well,
oh, my God. Interaction. Here comes Jim Murphy, modern-day Moses, with the secrets of life.
I don't know if it was on ESPN or if it was somewhere else because Jim Murphy's doing his media tour. But I thought his answer was so good when he's, this isn't about me. I'm just happy that this message is getting out to more people. Like, come on, man. You're counting your money right now. I'm just happy my message is getting out to more people.
Tirico says, oh, boy, here he goes. Wait, this guy could not have paid for better publicity for a 5-year-old book.
What did you see?
Has Tirico written a book? I guarantee you that's Tirico probably written a book. He couldn't get any traction at all. This guy comes from the mountain like Moses.
Did you see it went up like 500 million% or something? Like some ridiculous number. It was like 537,000 rank on Amazon. It went up to number one.
Oh, God bless the guy, but enough now with the media fawning over the whole storyline.
Would you see the guy who was holding the flag for the national anthem was holding up the book?
Yeah, it's my...
Well, our own Ray Dunn bought the book.
I know he did. He was reading passages. We were at the auto show. I made him read some passages.
Somebody was filming me reading the passages.
You know what my conclusion was? That was a guy who couldn't hit. He's an ex-baseball player who couldn't hit, and he's saying it's okay if you fail.
I know. I missed you guys at the auto show. Well, how did young Ray do?
Ray was.
He filled in okay.
Excellent. He was like he was transfixed by this Corvette in front of him. Like Ray's got eyes, and when he becomes a big star, that's his first purchase.
So I wouldn't go with
Ray's going to go styling in a Corvette.
I'd probably go something with like a home or something like that, but maybe a few steps down the line.
Yeah, just get a car. Don't worry about anything else.
No, you'll go car before you go home.
No.
Yeah, you got to have the car, man. You be styling.
Big purchase?
People got to see you in the car when you become a big star.
Practicality, Mike. Practicality.
He's still going practicality. When do you start making millions? Your practicality goes right out the window.
Wait until you start making millions.
Exactly. Wait until you start making millions.
Just don't forget about us.
That's right.
I'll be waiting a long time if I'm waiting to make millions.
I'll be in some rest home going, hey, you know this guy Ray Dunn? He's on TV. He says you work. It's vaguely familiar. The name's vaguely familiar.
See, I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be, hey, Ray, there's a guy named Mike Missanelli on the phone. Take a message.
Who? He would, too. And I'll be old and decrepit, like 87. Man, remember me, Ray? Who is he?
After you hit the legal ID, I got a really funny story about the delivery room that involves Mike.
Me? Well, I wasn't in the delivery room.
You weren't, I'll tell you.
Don't put me in that.
I'll tell you in a second. Hit the legal ID.
All right, you are listening to, oh, God, here I am again. I'm all over the place here. Ray, who?
Hey, don't worry.
You're listening to WPEN. Earn your millions here.
Okay, sounds good. You're listening to WPEN, PEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities.
Powering possibilities. That used to be a different slogan.
Yeah, powering possibilities. Before we hit the news at noon,
it's 12 o'clock. We're not going news at noon today.
Oh, we're not doing news at noon.
No. It's too busy of a day for news at noon. We're going straight to the people today.
All right, well, 2 seconds. So we're in the delivery room. Doctor comes in to check on my wife. Doesn't say anything, whatever, doing this thing with the baby and her or whatever. Walks out of the room. About 10 seconds later, peeks his head back in. He goes, I'm sorry, I just got to ask. How is it working with Mike Missanelli? I go, didn't say anything in the room. Didn't ask me. I didn't even know he knew who I was.
Everybody asks that. Yeah. It's funny because everybody I've ever worked with has the same story. It's like I'm some kind of like ogre or something.
Yeah. It's so funny. He didn't even say anything. I didn't even know he knew that I was on the radio. How is it working with Mike Missanelli?
By the way, the doctor didn't drop a junior min in there, did he?
No.
So you have no idea what that means. Ray's got the reference.
That's a Seinfeld reference, I assume?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. Anytime you say something I don't know, I'm assuming it's Seinfeld.
The junior mint.
Anything he thinks that I would understand is a Seinfeld reference, because a reference to anything else, I got nothing.
All right. Can we hear from the mayor, Sherelle Parker? God love her soul.
This is great.
But you can't mess this up, Sherelle. Come on, Ms. Mayor. Here's Sherelle Parker. Where was she when she was doing this? Where was she? She was like in the chambers? Well, where was she? Was it an appearance somewhere?
Let me see. I'm not sure where she is. It looks like she's out front of City Hall, I think.
Mayor Sherelle Parker, she's out front of City Hall. Wherever she is, she's talking to a bunch of people, and she decides that it's time to deliver an Eagles cheer. Here it is.
Let me hear you all say, E-L-G-S-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
She went L. The second letter came and went L. You're the mayor of the city.
She's lucky the election's over. That may have lost the election if it was beforehand.
She was going hillbilly elegy. That's what she was going. E-L-E-G-Y. The vice president wrote that book.
E-L.
The Elgles. Come on. All right, Demetrius on the cell. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Demetrius.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Demetrius?
Hey, the game was bad management in the fourth quarter. It was a play before Jalen got set, and the refs took a second to bring the ball up, and they let 5 seconds run off the clock before they ran the play. And if you feel like Jalen's hurt, why not run the ball 3 times and run the clock down?
Well, but they, look where they were running the clock down. You wanted them to punt from the back line of the end zone. They're trying to get some yards out of there.
We were already up. They should have just.
Well, I think they wanted to get out a little more. Still, if they're at the 9, they run 3 plays that are stopped. They're still going to have to kick from deep in the end zone. That's not an advantage.
All right, I'll accept that. But I had a question for you, right? You agree that this year's Eagle team is better than last year's, right?
Yep.
So I'm not understanding why we beat so many good teams and people don't have confidence in us.
People have listen. The Eagles are favored to win the Super Bowl right now. I don't understand why the fan base here doesn't have like the fan base here wants to protect themselves so much that it gets ridiculous. We can't do. He's going to have to do this. Jaden Daniels is going to do it. They're the better team. Like you go into it with a better suit of armor here. So I don't get it. You're going to lose the joust?
Yeah. Real quick.
Yeah.
So we were a Devontae Smith pass from beating the Commanders last time, and we were Saquon Barkley drop from beating Atlanta. So we would have the best record if that stuff happened. Like I feel like the Eagles are the best team in the league. Well, I don't understand why people don't have the confidence and
because
why they take everything serious.
They're just protecting themselves. The Commanders have a 9.8% chance to win the Super Bowl. Now so the Commanders would have to be 2 better teams. So that's why their odds are so low. But the Eagles are 33.8 to win the Super Bowl, which means like Vegas says they're better than the Commanders and they're better than whoever they're going to play in the Super Bowl. So instead, we pull ourselves down with where the quarterback might hurt. I just don't understand it. All right, the series he was talking about, they were at the 4, and then Barkley got 4. So it's second down at and 6 at the 8. you still don't have enough. You have to get out of there a little more. So you're saying you want to run the ball there? Okay, I get, but maybe a short pass works there too. I can't. You fought the play call there. You just can't give it up there. You run the ball, you get 2 yards, and now you're in a 3rd and 4, which is a tough down to convert anyway. That you're going to have to throw. So why not you're going to throw on 2nd down?
Yeah, and if you go back and you watch the replay, it did appear on that 2nd and 6 passing call that Hurts takes a safety. There was a receiver open in the middle of the field, but sometimes it's hard. We see it from an overhead view. You don't know what Jalen's seeing, especially in that weather. I didn't mind the play call because they were at the 8-yard line.
Yeah,
but Jalen does need to be a little bit better there.
No question about it. But our caller was saying, why don't you run the ball 3 times? Well, you run the ball 3 times, they're going to stop you there, and then you're not in an advantageous position to punt where they're going to probably get that punt back in your territory.
I'll tell you, though, man, this is when we talk about complimentary football. Eagles take that sack. On the kickoff, you got to give Jake Elliott credit. He hit a nice kick because it's a farther kickoff. Gets a nice kick.
With a line drive, they got to the 20.
Yeah, it got down there. They get the ball at the 35, and then the Rams run 2 plays, and you know what happens? Jalen Carter punches out the fumble. I mean, that's complimentary football right there. When the momentum could have swung.
Yeah, I like players that beat themselves up too when they make a mistake. Like Kyron Williams was beside himself. I love that.
Yeah, he wasn't happy.
I hate it when guys just slough it off.
You want them to beat
Punish yourself for doing that.
Just go read Inner Excellence on the sideline.
610-632-0975. Yeah, we'll hear Mike Tirico's little snide shot at Jim Murphy. That's Ray's hero now. Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Here's how you get in. 610-632-0975. We had a lot of activity today on the phones and on the text board. We just told you about Mike Tirico and his little shot. Here's the thing. I think anybody that's written a book that hasn't, been a bestseller is jealous of other people who somehow find the magic formula to be a bestseller. So this guy found the formula thanks to A.J. Brown reading it on the sidelines, and boom. So people that have books out there go, man. So Tirico write a book. Well, he doesn't have his own book, but someone wrote a book in a series. It's called Award-Winning Sports Broadcasters, and her name is Tammy Gagne. So she has a book, Mike Tirico, and it's $28, down from $40. By the way, it was a $40 book. What are you kidding me? So I'm thinking when I heard Tirico say that, I go, he's probably jelly that his book didn't do very well, and this guy is selling copies through the roof. And not only that, but he's getting a grand tour with the photo op and the South Pals of the world doing feature stories on him and all that kind of stuff, right? So here's Tirico. He slides it in. I think this is the first half of this game.
Does the book get wet here in this mixed precipitation? Is that your gamer? I mean, you can't get it ruined on a day like this. There's a whistle and a flag here for a false start. On top of Melissa's report, Chris, check this out. National anthem, flag carriers come out. Look at this guy. He's holding up inner excellence. Man, Jim Murphy could not have paid for better publicity for a 5-year-old book.
If that's not dripping sarcasm, I don't know what is.
A 5-year-old book. Yeah, he sounds a little bit.
He threw the 5-year-old book in there. Well, I couldn't sell first year because it sucked. 5 years, and this guy shows up with it, and boom.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's over now, though. It's enough. Everybody got their content out of it. Let's move on.
This is for your edification. We didn't do the news at noon today because we wanted to spend as much time as we could with the callers and the texters and the listeners and all that stuff. But this is for you. You had a trying weekend. But the Eagles winning picked up your spirits, but also the Lions losing. And so we thought we would play this in your honor. This is Dan Campbell, distraught after the Lions lose the game to the Commanders at home because their quarterback sucked. But here was the coach.
It just hurts to lose, man. And I don't care if you're the 7 seed, 6 seed, 5 seed, 1 seed, because I've lost at all of them down there, and it stings and it hurts. It hurts. It's hard, when you lose these games, man. It's like the players, what they put into it. A lot of people don't know, what they go through.
See, real men weep. Real men, strong at heart, tough on the outside, but they can still show emotion when they need to. And that's Dan Campbell.
All right, look, I feel bad for the guy. I don't wish those things on anybody. However,
you don't wish what? What do you do? Fall off a mountaintop?
No, the fact that he's so down. The fact that he's so down in the dumps.
Look, I spent 3 months wishing this on him.
I know. I feel bad for the guy. I do. I feel bad for him.
Feel bad for the
But let me say this. Because I always have a way of taking things that happen with Dan Campbell and making them about Nick Sirianni. Could you imagine, okay, I just want you to imagine for a second that the Philadelphia Eagles are the number 1 seed in the NFC. They win 15 games. They got a first-round bye. They're hosting the first playoff game of the season in the divisional round, and they lose the game. And then Nick Sirianni comes to his press conference, and he starts crying and saying how hard the players played. And then he ends the conference saying, it was my fault. It was my fault. Could you imagine how much Nick Sirianni would be back bashed locally, nationally.
Well,
this is what I'm talking about with Dan Campbell.
No, it's not what you're talking about because it's two completely different things. Dan Campbell has set himself up to be a man's man. Sirianni was mugging and scrapping with it. Like, that's the difference. Like, they don't look at Sirianni as the stout macho man. Dan Campbell has that image. So when the macho man breaks down, it's empathy that goes to the macho man, not to the snarky guy.
See you in 2 weeks. Good call, Dan Campbell. To Kevin O'Connell. See you in 2 weeks. On the golf course, baby. Get out of here, Dan Campbell. And guess what? Once Dan Campbell loses Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, you're going to see the Detroit Lions fall into mediocrity.
I don't know if he's losing Aaron Glenn after that performance on defense.
He'll get a job.
You think so?
I think Aaron Glenn will get a job. At least one of them's gone. And then we'll see how good Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year. Get out of here. Nick Sirianni should have been the Coach of the Year.
Therapy, man. I was going because of this Dan Campbell thing.
It's because he is so overhyped, man. He is so overhyped because he does this. We're going to win, man. And we're going to give it everything we got, man. Oh, yeah, man. We're going to bite ankles on the way up, man. And people are like, oh, he's so great. He's so great. What the hell has he done other than blow an NFC championship game last year and lose the first damn playoff game at home coming off a bye after a 15-win season? Dan Campbell is so overrated, it's ridiculous.
I can see you in hypnosis therapy, right? You're getting sleepy. Bill, you are now asleep. Bill, please, describe the most traumatic experience in your life. Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell.
Poor Dan.
Brian on his cell. Brian, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Brian.
Hey guys, first time ever calling, so apologize if I butcher. But I heard the topic about flopping, felt I had the call. My opinion, and I think many people agree, I don't think it will ruin Mahomes' his reputation in the end, but it ruins sports. It pisses people off. It ruins the product of every game. And that he did that is a disgrace. It's no different why people hate flopping in soccer, why other fan bases hate Embiid because of his flopping, while I feel that some of his falling down is to not have injuries, even though unfortunately
Brian, let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Let me get this straight. This guy has been a great quarterback. He'll go down in history as one of the greatest ever, right? And so the thing that bugs you is sometimes he flops. Like this is like the most
not everybody.
nonsensical argument.
I'm with Brian on this, Mike.
It's not gamesmanship.
Who cares?
It ruins
it ruins what? You look at that more than the efficiency he plays with?
Brian, I'm with you, dude.
No. I love Mahomes. Mahomes is great.
Well, then
Mahomes
why do you who cares about flopping? This nonsense? I've never heard anything like it. Who cares?
It's why LeBron will never be ahead of Jordan.
Oh, my God. There's something wrong with you people.
No, Bill's right on that.
Oh, my God in heaven. This is this is the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard. But he flops. He's not great. He flops. What? Would you get over yourself?
First
Who
of all,
cares?
there is a difference, okay? Number one, in basketball, not saying I love flopping, but it is a part of the game when you're trying to sell a charge and all that. In the NFL, when they go out of their way, over the top to protect the quarterback, the fact that you are abusing that protection by trying to flop, by trying to draw people to hit you, and then playing it up,
you get a real
it is
problem.
Unacceptable.
Get a real problem.
It is a real problem.
If the quarterback was trying to be savvy, if he slows up in there, maybe he can take a bump and get a flag. What are you talking about? He's trying to help his team.
No. It's not. It's Bush League, man. It is Bush League for Mahomes to do it.
610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles are in the NFC Championship game. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is driven by, is Gary Barbera the best? Boy, I guess. Brandon Graham and Coach Nick pick Barbera Jeeps because they're extra cheap during divisional week. Gary Barbera is making the playoffs pay off. Now that's a boom shakalaka. Go Birds. The Birds got past the Rams 28-22 behind another 200-yard game from Saquon Barkley. Barkley had a 62-yard touchdown in the first half and what looked like a game clinching a 78-yard touchdown run late in that game, but the defense did have to hold one more time late, getting a turnover on downs in the final minute of that game after getting 2 second-half turnovers as well. The conditions led to some tough times offensively, but the Eagles prevailed, and Jalen Hurts talked post-game to NBC's Melissa Stark about playing in that game.
I don't know if it'll snow next week, but rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go. We'll be ready to go.
Do you love playing in the snow?
I love playing football. How about that?
And we're going to hope that he is all ready to go after hurting his knee in that game. Obviously came back into that game and played the rest of the way. Quinyon Mitchell also suffering a shoulder injury. We'll keep you updated on both of those injuries throughout the week. Now it's the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia next weekend against the Washington Commanders, who beat the top-seeded Lions on Saturday. On the AFC side, Bills and Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. This update is also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason to go the extra mile, from testing their vehicles to creating AI that can anticipate your needs on the road. They demand that every car is worthy of their star because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Ray Dunn for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Head coach Nick
12:26, Mike Missanelli Show. I need to hear from a couple people here before we get back to the phones. We just heard Nick Sirianni's postgame, which I thought was a little lackluster. I'll be honest with you. I expected him to be more jacked up.
See, I like
in that presser.
I like he's saying this just made us hungry.
But I want to hear him on the postgame, Ray. Let's go with Nick Sirianni 11 and how he describes this team getting through that game.
I think we've been the same ever since we got here, to be quite honest with you. I think if you ask the players, they'll say that we've been the same as coaches ever since we got here. Attention to detail has always been there. The accountability has always been there. The toughness has always been there. The togetherness has always been there. You just double down on those types of things. 2-2 seems like a long time ago. We're here where we are now. I think we're battle-tested. We embrace the adversity. We're battle-tested from some of the things that we went through last year. Had to kind of drag ourselves through the mud to get to this position. We had to drag ourselves through the mud through the early starts and a lot of the doubts, and now here we are right now. But that's the way football goes. It's the way life goes, and hopefully these guys are learning. We talk a lot about it, and hopefully these guys are learning through the ups and downs. You can pick yourself up and go again, and that's the great thing about coaching is you take opportunities to do that to help these guys not only become better football players but become better men.
Oh, how awe-inspiring. Dragging themselves through the mud, Bill. Look at you. Just beaming like a proud papa. You're a papa twice. Two papas.
He's phenomenal, man. He's a phenomenal coach.
He's phenomenal.
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
You're damn right.
All right, let's go down to Jalen because you got to hear words of wisdom from Jalen. So let's go with being able to weather the storm and win. Jalen Hurts 6, Ray.
I think if you have the right mental approach, they're all the same. It all bounces back on your preparation, how you prepared. The conditions are different in each game, but being able to say I prepared for whatever is going to come. So it was a different game, but we were able to weather the storm, and that took complementary football. That took big-time plays on offense in the right moments. That took big-time plays on defense in the right moments, and special teams being able to play the way they did. And I'd love to capitalize on those turnovers when we had those opportunities, and we will the next time around. But happy we were able to pull this one out and get a win as a team.
Oh, there you go. That's true, Jalen.
You like
say
to
a lot
play
of
on
words and say nothing.
But you like we weathered the storm.
Weathered the storm, and so that's where I want to get to my next one because he was asked about playing in the snow. This is Jalen Hurts 2.
Well, the communication is important. The fundamentals are important, and just being in attack mode. But I think those are all things that generally you should be focused on anyways, regardless of the conditions. And so I want to give a ton of credit to the team we just played. They've evolved as the years gone on, and offensively, defensively been very efficient in what they do. Talked about their front seven all week and how they're able to affect the passer, and they did that tonight. And on the other side of the ball, they were able to move the ball at certain points, but our defense nutted up and played a hell of a game, got some crucial turnovers in those moments, and just attest that to the work that everyone has put in and be able to come out here and play in a snow game.
There you go, a snow game. All right, so let's go. See, there is one concern now, and that is that knee got bent back. Yeah, that did not look good, and they braced it. It's going to be sore this week, probably going to be swollen. So obviously he was asked about that. This is Jalen Hurts 3.
I just want to clarify, Jalen, you said for this week, you said you'll see how the week goes. Is your status uncertain for next week?
Great question. No, just seeing how the week will go, seeing how things progress.
So you think you feel confident you'll play next week, I guess?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. He's confident he's going to play. He's not going to miss the game. He might be a little limited. He might have to play the brace. Maybe that plays into what Washington does on defense with the read option. I don't know.
It's definitely a concern. If he's not as mobile as he normally is, that's what the X factor is with Jalen Hurts. The fact that he does have that ability to pull it in the read option game, that he is the +1 in the running game. It's not ideal. I mean, you saw last year when Jalen was battling that knee and then he was wearing the brace last season, he wasn't the same quarterback. Let's just hope it's not an issue. But that's something to watch, and we don't know what's going on with Quinyon Mitchell either. He needs to be healthy this week. Let's hope they're both healthy. It's not an issue. But I am a little bit concerned about the knee.
This might be a product of working with Mike, but you mentioned the line moving in the Eagles' favor earlier, and that gives me a little bit of calming feeling with Hurts' knee.
Yeah. Again, because it opened at 4.5 on FanDuel right now. It's up to 5.5. Man, the Bills.
It's a healthy line. Now, one other little subplot in this game, and I know a lot of people, I saw it posted on Twitter, people reading lips. So before Saquon goes on that long 78-yard run to what we thought was the game clincher, there's this video of him turning to Hurts and saying, "Watch this." But after the game, he said he wasn't saying "watch this." He thought he was on the wrong side, and he was just clarifying. And Jalen said, "You're okay."
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know what he was.
It wasn't "watch this." I'm going to score a touchdown. He didn't even recognize. He was confused by the question. So I know he thought he was lined up on the wrong side. He said, "Jalen, am I right?" or something like that.
Yeah, I thought he said, when I was trying to read it, I thought he said, "We got this," meaning like the play's there.
Yeah, but some people were interpreting, "Watch this." I'm going to go for
I like it better that way.
Yeah,
I'm going to live
it's
in
a
my
better
fantasy
story.
land
It
here.
is. It's a better story.
Sure,
but
roll with it.
when he was asked about it, he did not say that was the case. But for the record, let's hear the play. Let's hear the touchdown. It always jacks people up to hear the announcer go crazy. In this case, it's Tirico who's jealous that his book's not doing as well as Jim Murphy's. But here's his call.
118 yards and adding to it. There goes Barkley into the clear, through the snow, all the way home. He's hit another home run against the Rams. And this one might send him to the championship game.
All right, there you go.
You know what? You forget sometimes when you're watching the game live. I went back and watched they put up like the 15-minute on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the first play of the drive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what was even crazier about it. It was the first damn play, and he takes it 78 yards. Unbelievable, man. Those are the plays like you'll never forget. Like we never forget 4th and 26. You never forget those plays. I'm never going to forget seeing Saquon Barkley.
You know, I did this at the start of the show. You can recall these big plays that made. There's like 9 or 10 moments that stuck out as the biggest play of this game that they made and the Rams didn't make. And from the opening series touchdown that he dashes for to Jalen Carter's sack of Stafford that preserves the game, everything in between. The Elliott field goals, the Hurts 4th and 4 completion, the Saquon 62 and Saquon 78, Jalen Carter's punch out of Kyron Williams. You guys just go down the list. That when you put them all together, those are winning plays. And for people to get focused on the number total that the quarterback throws for is just absurd to me. Let's go to Frank in Philly. Frank, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Frank.
Mike, man, why do you give this quarterback a pass? Why?
Because they're in the NFC Championship, man.
Bill, stop.
They're 14-2 with him as the starter.
Hold on. He's the worst quarterback that's left out of the 4. The last 8 that just played, he was the worst then. This is my thing. He's too inconsistent, man. Like, he threw for 128 yards. And then we say, well, Matthew Stafford, he was just getting garbage. No. He was moving the ball at will in the second half. And I don't care the defense played soft. I don't. The Rams back defense, their D-backs stink. And Jalen did not make that pay for it.
Do you like Josh Allen?
Yes.
How many passing yards did he have yesterday?
How many touchdowns did he have? And did he will his team to win?
Wait, how many passing yards? Because you said he only threw 128.
How many?
Josh Allen had 127.
What did Josh Allen do to win that game? What did he do?
Are we going to ignore Jalen Hurts' 44-yard touchdown in the first quarter? We're going to throw that out the window?
Frank.
That doesn't count?
Frank, hold on. Frank, you just said he's the worst quarterback left. And yet, he's with the best team left. So, how do you reconcile that?
Mike, he makes $250 million. So
Frank, it doesn't matter what he made. I just asked you a question. You're not answering the question. He's the worst quarterback left, and yet they're the best team and they're favored to win the Super Bowl. That doesn't stop you in your tracks?
No, because you just said they're favored to win. Vegas had 5 other teams favored to win before the playoffs started. So guess what? Just because the Eagles are the best team left, now they're favored to win. J.D. Daniels is going to trash us. If Jalen does not have his type of level, we're going home.
Frank, I feel sorry for you. I really do. I don't know what to say to you. You talk yourself. I don't understand fans that talk themselves down when you're trying to make the case that your argument is that he's the worst quarterback left, and yet they're the best team left. You don't have an argument. You don't. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're a nice guy. Your argument is idiotic. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
$97.5 to Fanatic. I got the Inquirer story here, the headline. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Kellen Moore need to be better if the Eagles are to beat the Commanders. Hurts isn't supposed to be a $50 million game manager. And even though the Eagles are in an NFC Championship game, an injury could hamper his mobility after the quarterback was sacked 7 times. I just have to laugh. I don't know. And even national guys, they buy into this narrative, and they need to put something out there that they think is relevant. And they put it out there every week that the Eagles need a lot more from their passing game to beat Washington. And every week, it doesn't seem like they need a lot more from their passing game to beat anybody because they're overly good in other areas that teams aren't as good in. Like, it's never factored in. I don't understand it. Dan Graziani, I know that the second half was played in a blizzard and no one could do much. End of story. I'm not holding the Eagles mere 65 passing yards, 128 total against them per se. Yes, you are. You just made a statement. I know the second half was played in a blizzard and no one could do much. And then your next sentence is, but Hurts was bad. Like, I don't understand this. It's not, you know what? Illogical things make me nuts. Ray, you can tell that, right?
I can tell that.
Illogical thing. Like, it's not logical to write these things every week and to say the Eagles need a lot more from their passing game to beat whomever. And now there's a chance they're going to have to keep up with the unflappable Daniels. There is? Okay, he's unflappable. Who's he playing against? Some college team? He's playing against the best defense in the league. That doesn't factor in your analysis? Come on, man.
And I just don't understand, and I know you keep saying that's because they have a bit better history, why these articles aren't being written about Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes in the passing game.
Well, but you know the answer to that. Come on. You know the answer to that. But what those guys are in a heightened state.
But you don't see the article. If Josh Allen only throws 127 yards next week against the Chiefs, they have no chance. Well, he only threw 127 against the Ravens.
It's more forgivable for those type of quarterbacks than it is for a guy like Jalen Hurts, who hasn't. But see, a couple years ago when he was an MVP candidate, there wasn't any problem with his passing. Well, people are looking at it now, going, "Oh, there's a problem with his passing." Like he manages to make big throws along with what their bread and butter is, which is to use their offensive line and use Saquon Barkley. So, like, I don't understand why people, when you write about his inefficiency as a quarterback, you have to include the whole picture. And they never do. So, whatever. All right, let's go back to the phones. We got Black Gritty on the cell. What's up, Black Gritty?
Mikey, Billy Boy, Bill, congratulations on the big. I'm a girl dad, so congratulations.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome for you. So let me tell you about the book first. First of all, stop hating on this book, okay? I'm halfway through the book, and one of the things is patience. He patiently waited 5 years for his time to come and get his little riches, Mike, okay? He waited 5 years. The book teaches patience, and my man waited, okay?
Good for him.
Don't be hating on the book. That's what the book does.
I'm not hating on him. I'm not hating on him. I'm glad for him. I'm hating on, like, this media romance with this whole angle has wrung me out.
I just love that America is learning how to read again, Mike. They're learning how to read. Now, let me go ahead and help you guys out because I don't think you guys speak moron. I speak stupid. I mean, I be calling the radio talking crazy. So let me just help the dumb people out, okay? So Lane Johnson false starts on the 1 yard line. Oh, the tush push. That's 6 points right there. A.J. Brown misses a catch on a 3 yard line. I'm almost guaranteeing another 6 points right there. Mekhi Becton, too far downfield when he passes the ball to Dallas Goedert. Passing yards get taken away. You lose outside the 4 yard. So y'all lose another 6 points there. That's 18 points right there because I'm not giving Jake extra points for nothing, so I'm not giving him an extra 3. But that's 18 more points you could have just easily just put on top of it. But Jalen Hurts doesn't do anything. He took the sack. I'm rather him taking the 2 than throwing it over the middle when they're blitzing all day long and maybe the ball gets tipped and they get a 3 or a 6. But you don't know anything because you're sitting there watching on television. And then you say, Saquon Barkley is carrying the team. On his two longest runs, when he said, I got this, the reason he said, I got this is because your quarterback audibled on both of those plays and flipped them because he read the defense and said, we running it to the right. Saquon ran to the left, and then Saquon took it to the house. But you don't know that because you're an idiot drunk in your house watching this get George W's. So when you hate on him, you hate on Kellen Moore, the play call, shut up, dummy. We're getting these George W's on the road to victory.
Wow, Black Gritty on fire today.
Yeah, he is all fired up. He's not wrong, though. I mean, he is not wrong. When we look at the quarterback position, and I think we do the same thing with the head coach, we fail to realize that there are so many other factors that go into both of those positions. The head coach doesn't call plays. What does he do? He does a lot more than that. Jalen Hurts, he can't throw the ball like Patrick Mahomes. What does he do? There's so many other factors that make a good quarterback, that make a good head coach a good head coach. But the bottom line is this quarterback and head coach are winning at a clip that we've never seen before in franchise history. So enjoy it. And they are favored by 5.5 points against Jaden Daniels.
The unflappable.
Hell yeah.
The unflappable Jaden Daniels. See, I don't play the if game ever. Like if this, if that, if Saquon would have caught the ball against the Falcons. I don't play the if game. I don't play the, well, if Lane Johnson wouldn't have fallen. There's a reason why those guys play that way in those kind of conditions. Like Lane Johnson is thinking, I gotta really, the conditions are terrible. Maybe the traction not the same for the Fishbowl, so I really got to get a good start here. Those things will happen, so I don't play the if game. What I play is the end game, and the end game always seems to be that they make the big plays necessary to win. We rattled off 10 of them that they made, and anybody who wants to make the case that Matthew Stafford threw for more yards than Jalen Hurts. Well, first of all, he had to. All right? The Eagles don't have – Matthew Stafford had to, especially on those last 2 drives when his total was enhanced by 125 yards on 2 drives because they were playing prevent. You got to look at the whole thing. When you target Puka Nacua 14 times and he only catches 6, is that good quarterback play? Like, the elements dictated what either team tried to do in that game.
Now, they did. I think the people who are hating on Jalen Hurts a lot today are looking at the 7 sacks that he took. And it's hard when you're watching the game on TV. You don't know what's going on down the field. And I'm okay with Jalen. Outside of the safety, I didn't love seeing him take the safety. Outside that, I'm okay with him taking the sack as opposed to trying to force something that's not there, especially in the elements the way that they work.
I thought he made one really bad mistake where he took a sack and took him out of field goal range. Now, that's on him. You got to be smarter. Well, somebody missed the block. Yeah, back to miss the block. So it doesn't matter who missed the block. Somebody's on you. You got to get rid of the ball. That you can't afford to take your team out of field goal range. So that's a bad mistake.
I agree, but when the guy misses the block, see, when we're talking
he misses
about
the block, you see it. You missed the block. Got to waste the play.
Where are you going with the ball?
It does. You throw it away.
Where?
You throw it outside. You throw it out of bounds. Whatever you do, you throw it down. And somebody got a guy's feet. You have to have that wherewithal not to cost your team 3 points.
See, I look at it more. I put it on the quarterback when there's a free rusher, and the quarterback should see that pre-snap and know he's got to get rid of the ball quickly. If a guy misses a block, you're not expecting that to happen. It's not as easy to just say throw it away.
Yes, it is. That's what separates good quarterbacks from bad. Brady did that all the time. There were a lot of free rushers that came in that were unexpected. He got rid of the ball. You can't hold the ball and cost yourself points. That's the only time when you can't take a sack. So you got to be aware of that. Somebody comes on me, I got to get rid of it. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles are on to the NFC title game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Birds got past the Rams 28-22 behind another 200-yard game from Saquon Barkley. Barkley had a 62-yard touchdown in the first half and what looked like a game-clinching 78-yard touchdown run in that fourth quarter. The defense did have to make one big stop late, turn the Rams over on downs in the final minute of the game. Also had 2 second-half turnovers. That defense coming through in big moments yesterday for the Birds in what was crazy conditions. Jalen Hurts talked post-game to NBC about playing in the snow.
I don't know if it'll snow next week, but rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go. We'll be ready to go.
Do you love playing in the snow?
I love playing football. How about that?
I want him out there playing football, despite the fact he did suffer a knee injury in that game. He did come back into the game. Quinyon Mitchell suffered a shoulder injury, did not come back to the game. We'll keep you updated on those 2 injuries throughout the week. Now it's the AFC Championship game in Philadelphia next weekend against the Washington Commanders, who beat the top-seeded Lions on Saturday. On the AFC side, Chiefs and Bills in the AFC title game. Elsewhere, 76ers lost both games this weekend, while the Flyers picked up a W over the Devils. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile, from testing their vehicles to creating AI that can anticipate your needs on the road. They demand that every car is worth their star because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for the college football title game tonight, right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, so on the telecast yesterday, they used the cliche shots early on the telecast. Did you notice that? They went Reading Terminal and big cheesesteak, like back-to-back. But they did go Palestra, which was interesting. What else did they do?
Franklin Field?
Franklin Field. That's right. They went going around the track there like it was the Penn Relays.
I don't remember seeing the Rocky steps at the art
They
museum.
didn't do the Rocky. I'm thinking, sure, shooting, that's got to be the next shot. You got to go Rocky statue or the art museum steps, right? I don't think they did that.
No, I don't remember seeing that one.
See, I like going to Northeast, a row house street in the Northeast, going to Southwest Philly, going to North Philly.
I think they should have gone to Bristol.
Maybe go to suburbs like Bristol. They go to the main line,
Should have gone to Bristol and said the home of Mikey Miss.
Yeah, they wouldn't have done that. But I'm talking, like just the whole area. Go into South Jersey if you dare. Like go Olive Garden in South Jersey. Go on a circle or something. Come on, man, you got to show the whole thing. The Philly fan base just is in the Palestra and the cheesesteak and the Reading Terminal.
I was curious, though, the cheesesteak. I don't know the cheesesteak place they showed.
The monster cheesesteak, whatever it was.
But then they put them in the tin.
The what?
The cheesesteaks, they cut them in half, and then they put them in those round tins. I've never gotten
a takeout order?
Yeah, but every cheesesteak I've ever gotten has been wrapped with paper. I never got it in a round tin. Ray, did you notice what cheesesteak place they showed?
I'll be honest, I missed this entirely.
You missed the whole cheesesteak.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
you know to go.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Maybe that big one is you can't. It's not feasible to wrap it like that. That was like a belly filler.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. If anyone knows, in the YouTube chat they're saying it was Angelo's. I didn't think that looked like Angelo's. Maybe it was.
It was a big one. Are they that big in Angelo's? I thought it was like a double cheesesteak, sort of.
Yeah, I didn't recognize that cheesesteak.
All right. Well, anyway, let's go back to the text board. Texter is angry with the fan base. The fan base has been anti-Hurts. I got to be honest with you. I'm feeling the anti-Hurts. I don't know what it is. I guess he's just too weird to connect with people, and that. So whatever he doesn't do is exemplified by the fact that they can't connect. Like he's this pod, and they can't get inside the pod. And maybe that's what helps them or keeps them from judging him so favorably.
All right, we got Bruce in East Earl. Some Eagles fans just annoy me. Hurts is a great quarterback. He's great at what he does, and, well, he wins. Instead of being excited about potential Super Bowl appearance, people are saying Washington is going to win this game, or the offense needs to do this or that. Seriously, 16 wins this year. I believe the Eagles system works.
See, I'm on to him. I'm on to the people that think Washington's going to win because I know why you're doing it. You're protecting yourself in case it does happen.
You think that's what it is?
No, it's definitely. It's the less hurt. It's like, see, I expected it, so I'm not as hurt as much. But if you expect them to go to the Super Bowl and roll past Washington, and it doesn't happen, it destroys you inside. So I know what people are doing.
Where's that game at, Ray, the NFC Championship game?
I believe Lincoln Financial Field.
Oh, is it at Lincoln Financial Field? Because you know that the Philadelphia Eagles, since 2022, are 25-5 at the Link. They're 18-3 in their last 21. They've won 9 straight at Lincoln Financial Field, 4 straight playoff games at Lincoln Financial Field, which is a franchise record. So everybody wants to make this about Hurts, but it's going to be at the Link. And the last time I checked, you got a rookie quarterback, as good as he is, going up against Vic Fangio's defense, which was ranked #1 in the NFL this season. I'm taking the Birds all day.
You are listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on WPEN and WPEN HD, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live in the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. And we are set up for a very ironic viewing of owners on Sunday. While on one corner, you got Jeffrey Lurie sitting there with his lovely wife and watching his prideful Philadelphia Eagles. And on the other owner's box, you got Josh Harris. Awkward. Josh Harris, the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, rooting on his Washington Commanders. How you feeling about that there, Billy?
So it's interesting. Do the Sixers have any home games this week? Do we know?
I'll look it up right now.
Oh, so I don't think that they do. I'm looking now. Yeah, they play on Friday at home. So normally, that's a perfect night to have an Eagle ring the bell, isn't it? I mean, the Friday night before the NFC Championship game, there would be a Philadelphia Eagle ringing that bell. You can't have an Eagle ring the bell. Josh Harris can't ask an Eagle to come ring the damn bell.
Josh is currently occupied with his football team. I don't think he noticed that last night's starting lineup with Tyrese Maxey was Adem Bona, Eric Gordon, Kelly Oubre, and Ricky Council IV. And off the bench, they fired Pete Nance, Justin Edwards, and Jeff Doughton. I'm not so sure that the owner of the Sixers understands that was the starting lineup last night because he's currently preoccupied.
Yeah, and they lost again, 6 straight.
What do you expect they're going to win with that lineup?
6 straight. What is crazy, though.
God.
Josh Harris has owned the Washington Commanders for 1 season, and they're already in the NFC Championship game. Jerry Jones has not been to a championship game in 29 years. And Josh Harris somehow does it in year number 1. That's got to make good old Jerry feel good in Jerry's world down there.
By the way, Paul George didn't play because of left groin tightness, which I pretty much experience every day. Left groin tightness. And then Drummond, left toe. He had a left toe situation there. So Pete Nance played 24 minutes for the Sixers.
Yeah, thank God we got the Eagles right now. That's all. But it is going to be interesting. Do you think that Josh Harris will show his face at the link, rooting for the Commanders? This is why I had the problem.
It's very awkward, isn't it?
It's very awkward. This is why you shouldn't be able to own. I mean, you can't stop it, but you shouldn't be able to own, especially a rival, same conference. It's just the whole thing rubs me the wrong way. So now he's going to be rooting for the Commanders, obviously, because he owns them. But then at the same time, we're supposed to be excited when we see him at Sixers games. I don't know.
How many Sixers are in that Commander suite?
You think, well, see, that would be a violation if the Sixers did. They had the temerity to show up in his suite.
They're in Chicago the night before, and then they come home for a couple of home games in a row.
I think every Sixer, there won't be any.
And then
then Beats hurt. He's not going to show his face. So Maxey won't do it.
Maxey grew up a Cowboys fan.
He did. And for the non-writers out there, when Mike says temerity, that means excessive confidence or boldness, also audacity. That's what temerity means.
I have to laugh how we, the people here get carried away with a temp. Justin Edwards played 2 good games. Now people go, oh, yeah, Justin Edwards is a keeper. It's mind-boggling to me how people can overjudge these stiffs that try to make it in the NBA.
I mean, to Justin Edwards' credit.
Oh, he's one of them.
He was a highly recruited guy. It's not like it's
Justin, come on.
I'm not telling you I'm giving the guy a max contract.
NBA player. Neither is Jeff Doughton and Pete Nance. These aren't NBA players.
Okay, don't put him in that trio.
Well, the guys that came off the bench. He didn't even play Reggie Jackson last night. He'd rather play those guys.
I mean, if I'm talking about what ridiculous. I'd rather see right now, a guy that we know.
Justin Edwards is a keeper. Now you can trade Kelly. Well, you can trade Kelly Oubre any day of the week for my money, but it's not because of Justin Edwards. 610-632-0975. Let's go to Charlie in Levittown. Charlie, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Charlie.
Thanks for taking my call, Mike.
What's up, buddy?
And Bill and Ray, thank you. I have 5 points to make.
Go ahead.
Number 1, you have a different level of expectation to win the NFC East. You also have a different expectation to get to the Super Bowl. And then finally, you have another level of expectation to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. All right? Point number 2, the offensive line was offensive. Point number 3, Kellen Moore. I hear that he's fielding offers. I will personally drive him to the airport. Number 4, Vic Fangio. Vic, you need to step it up and be more aggressive. Number 5, goodbye, Jake Elliott.
I am speechless. I don't really have Charlie. I don't know what's gotten into you. I really don't. Like your 5 points don't. All right. I don't know what to say to people anymore. I really don't. I can't even argue with him. Like you're so far off base about everything. It's not Jake Elliott. Okay, he missed 2 extra points. He also kicked 3 field goals. This is not a day where you complain. I hear that some idiot from another station tweeted out that they need to sign a kicker and take Jake Elliott off the field for the rest of the year. Like, what goes into the stupidity? Like, there are people that are doing sports talk in this town that put that kind of stuff out and get taken seriously and are listened to. What kind of an idiot would put out a tweet like that?
Yeah, I saw the same tweet. Pretty crazy. You're not moving on from Elliott.
Was it aggravating that he missed 2 extra points? Yeah, but it would have been ultra aggravating had he missed one of those 3 field goals, which were much more important in the context of the game. And I'm not a kicker fan. I'm not going to give credit to any kicker. But it's a stupid take. After a guy made 3 field goals.
And after the Philadelphia Eagles just
and
won.
the offensive line was offensive. Well, you know how difficult it is to block in that kind of condition when the other team is coming up the field. It's a lot easier than to hold your ground in that kind of footing.
But that caller made 5 points coming off of 2 playoff wins. They win the wild card game, they win the divisional round, and now they're headed to the NFC Championship game that they're going to host. And all 5 of his points had a negative skew.
All 5 of his points were not even in the ballpark.
I don't get it. Why can't we enjoy this?
610-632-097. I think I'm holding my composure, man. I'm patting myself on the back today.
Look, when
I can't even snap back.
You're being great, Mike. Look, when it came to the Phillies, I was very negative headed into the playoffs. This is you can't be negative now. They've already won the playoff games. They're already in the NFC Championship. They've proven that they could win this way. There were issues with the Phillies that I had my concerns about that unfortunately reared their ugly head in the playoffs. That hasn't happened. Team keeps winning. Enjoy it.
610-632-0975. Go back to the text board, but let's get your calls in here. You hear what's being said. I'm stunned at the level of negativity towards this quarterback and this team, which happens to be the best team left in the tournament. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Join 97.5 The Fanatic.
On the Mike Missanelli Show. All right, we got a pro Hurts text. For my money, we can't get enough of these pro Hurts texts. We've been just completely unbalanced with the concerns of Jalen Hurts, even though they just keep winning. Oh my God, there's going to be a time when one game goes by, next game goes by. Yeah, eventually Dan Graziano is going to be right. Like when the season will be over by the time he's right. You know what? I'm worried about Jalen Hurts' efficiency in the offseason, right?
It's February 16th. They can't win a game this weekend because of Hurts.
I'm worried about going into next year with their quarterback's inefficient.
Saquon Barkley's sitting on a beach down in Cancun. They're not going to win this way.
Totally ridiculous. So what's the text board have to say?
All right, Zach from Florida. This is crazy. How can you judge a guy and take away his ability to run the ball? They don't win that game without Hurts' ability to run for that first score. Commanders got their Super Bowl win against the Lions. Eagles roll them next week. Nice run they're on, but let's not forget how many turnovers the Eagles forced last time the two played.
Yeah, and listen, the knee is an issue as far as that goes, because he's easier to defend. If there's not that threat and he's got the brace on, he's obviously not going to be as spry. And he'll be able to get out of the pocket, I think, and maybe he's not going to, burst out for a 44-yard touchdown. And maybe that plays into the defensive coordinator's hands. Dan Quinn is a pretty slick guy that way. So we'll see.
Yeah, and all this concern about the passing offense, the team that we have compared this Eagles team to the most is the 2013 Seattle Seahawks, the Legion of Boom.
Well, that's the team you've compared them to.
Because it's very similar in terms of their defense and in terms of how their offense operates. So let's look at the two playoff games that the Seattle Seahawks won before the Super Bowl, because they had a bye that year. In the divisional round, you know how many passing yards they had in that win? 103. In the conference championship, the Seahawks against the 49ers that year, 193. And then in the Super Bowl against the Broncos, 206. So when the narrative keeps getting pushed, they can't win with a passing offense like this. The Seahawks proved when you have a good defense and you have a good rushing attack, you can 100% win in the playoffs like this.
All right, so let's put this in a proper perspective. Would you take any other quarterback in the tournament over Jalen Hurts?
Well, yeah. I mean,
the answer would be yes.
Yeah, you would take Mahomes.
Would you take any other team over the Eagles?
No, I don't think I would. Maybe.
Well, isn't that the whole essence of what we're talking about here?
Yeah, I'm not taking the Commanders as a team over the Eagles. Quarterback.
Are you
included.
taking the Chiefs?
I'm not taking the Chiefs.
Are you taking the Bills? Probably not. The Eagles are more complete, except they don't have the dynamics at the quarterback position that the other teams do. But that said, they're the team that's favored to win the whole thing. Farouk in Louisville, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Farouk.
Hi, Michael. How are you doing?
Hello, Farouk.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Okay. So, listening to the call, it seemed that did we win yesterday, or we lost? Like listening to the call, it seemed that we lost.
Yeah. Well, they're on to the next challenge, which is I don't know if the quarterback can beat the dynamic Jaden Daniels.
No, the only thing that matters is getting a W. I'm more worried about these extra points that Jake Elliott is missing. It's just not the last game. It's been the whole season that he's been missing. And the fact I remember like a year back, it was money getting a field goal of 50 yards, but now it seems he doesn't. I don't know what's
Yeah, it's weird. I don't understand it either, but he did make the 3 field goals because I thought that those extra points were an indication he was going to blow one of those field goals, and he didn't. So,
Yeah. So I'm not really concerned about Jalen Hurts' passing game because I was watching the other game. Ravens, if I'm not wrong, had more than 400 yards, and Bills had 200 yards. But Bills won the game, so who cares how many yards you have? The only thing that you matter is the W.
And if you don't turn the ball over and give the other team an easy field to score, that's key.
Yeah, exactly. And we are missing that. There were two, A.J. Brown missed 2 passes, which were pretty catchable. And if you include those ones, I think that he would have been around 170 or 160 in passing, around that number, if I'm not wrong. And that would have made, the passing attack more respectable. But I'm really not concerned about. I'm not concerned about the next game. I think Jalen Hurts does an amazing job controlling the clock at the end of the game. I think he does a lot that we don't see on the stat sheet. For example, controlling the offensive line, making sure that the blocks are there. So I'm not really concerned. I think the line is an Eagles line, and so I'm really not concerned about anything.
All right.
It's just the fact that I'm concerned about his knee. I hope he's healthy about that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you, Farouk. The knee is going to be an issue. It's funny because let me look it through the Internet Excellence book here. I'm going through Internet Excellence. Oh, here it is. Don't bury yourself in negative feelings when you fail to catch 2 catchable passes in an NFC semifinal game. It says Jim Murphy.
Which chapter? I want to make sure I get to that one.
Internet Excellence. That's the chapter's called AJ.
Okay, sounds good.
That's chapter's 5.
I'll have it read for tomorrow.
Thank you. Let's go to Tim in Audubon. Tim, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Tim. Hello, Tim. Tim. Timster. He's not there. Let's go to Ron in West Philly. What's up, Ronnie?
Yes, how you doing?
Good, Ron. How are you?
I ain't gonna lie to you, right? I'm gonna speak for everybody, right? I'm speaking. Man, I was scared than a mother, man. I was scared. I'm on the couch. Listen, I'm on this couch, hands shaking and everything. Like everybody, I'm looking at everybody's face. Man, when he threw it over, Patuka hands, right? Man, we was in there celebrating that, be like we won the chip or something like that.
He threw it over Tuca's head.
But as I was saying, like the last caller, I'm not even really concerned because as I say, listen, the last game we played Washington, I would say we shot our own selves in the foot. Jalen Hurts went down, right? We couldn't help that injury concern. T.J. Garner-Johnson went out to his attitude. We made a couple miscues when one guy, he got a touchdown. I think it was 12 men on the field. One was trying to get off. A guy had a free touchdown.
No, you're right. You're right. Anything that happened in the regular season really doesn't matter in this game. I never carry over what happened in the regular season to the playoffs. Completely different circumstance. You're trained differently. The stakes are differently. You have a more heightened senses for the game. And it's home game. Yeah, it doesn't matter what happened in that game.
But one thing, no, it doesn't matter. But listen, we seen him. If he had 5 touchdowns, we seen him with his cape on. If that was his best with his cape on, we already seen that. I don't think they seen us at our very best. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the question, Ron. Do you think that the Commanders can score 30 points on this Eagle team?
No, I don't think. This is what I think. I think we get out to a lead, right, whereas though the young boy going to have to do some things, right? He's going to have to force some things. We're going to get out to the league, and our defense is going to be stifling, and he's going to get out to the league, and that's when turnovers is going to happen.
Yeah, no, I got you. The only way I can see the Commanders in this game is if they're capable of scoring 30. So the Eagles have to outscore them. And I don't know. But other than that, I just can't see it, that they're going to score 30 against this defense.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking at it. Vic Fangio's 3rd time going up against a rookie quarterback, as good as Jaden Daniels has been. I don't see them putting up 30 points on Sunday. I just don't. Not at the link.
I can't see it either. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles on to the NFC title game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Birds got past the Rams 28-22 behind another 200-yard game from Saquon Barkley on the ground. Barkley had a 62-yard touchdown in the first half and what looked like a game-clinching 78-yard touchdown run late in that fourth quarter. Defense, though, did have to hold serve and turn the Rams over on downs in the final minute of the game. Defense also had 2 second-half turnovers, doing a good job in the crucial moments for this team. The conditions crazy down there at Lincoln Financial Field with all the snow, rain, just all types of bad weather. Jalen Hurts talked about it post-game to NBC.
I don't know if it'll snow next week, but rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go. We'll be ready to go.
Do you love playing in the snow?
I love playing football. How about that?
Want him ready to play football next weekend. Hurts did deal with the knee injury, went into the tent, did come back into that game. Quinyon Mitchell did not return to the game while dealing with a shoulder injury. We'll keep you updated on those players' status and everyone throughout the week. Of course, it is NFC Championship game week now in Philadelphia this weekend against the Washington Commanders, who beat the top seed Lions on Saturday. On the AFC side of things, both the Chiefs and Bills advanced to the AFC Championship game. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, 76ers lost both games this weekend, and the Flyers picked up a win over the Devils. This update is also brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast. Freshen up your morning with Wendy's Breakfast like a breakfast baconator, ready for a fresh wake-up call. Gotta be Wendy's. Available at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for the college football title game tonight, right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade and Salciunas.
127, Mike Missanelli Show. All right, I love the byplay you get with your dad. Pop Colarulo is a big Eagle fan, but he would be like identified as, he's an older guy, so like kind of a Negadelphian who's been through the wars. People that are older fans always expect the worst because they're kind of shell-shocked. They kind of have PTSD with Philadelphia sports. But I find it very interesting that you go back and forth with them texting.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So Pop Colarulo shoots one out. What was his original?
Well, yeah,
text?
so first of all, he would admit that he's probably a Negadelphian because he has had a lot of heartbreak over the years.
Yeah.
But he texts me and says, I mean, seriously, you guys are acting like the Eagles dominated yesterday, and they didn't. Do you realize how close they came to losing? And I responded, they're in the NFC Championship. It's not a day to complain. If this was the regular season, maybe I would agree with you, but it's the playoffs, and they just won. He says, I respectfully disagree. The days
I'm glad you threw respectfully in there.
It's Mike's with all due respect.
The days prior, you acted like it was going to be a cakewalk. But see, this is the thing. And my dad, he has the voice of a lot of Philadelphia fans where it's...
But see, here's the thing, Pop. Nobody is acting like they dominated the game. The game wasn't dominated by any particular team. And a lot of that was dictated because of the weather. Do you realize how close they came to losing? What does that matter? Who cares how close they came to losing? In the end, they made more plays than the other team and won the game. Why is it in the equation that they came close to losing? It doesn't matter. You don't get any points for coming close to losing.
No, in the playoffs, it's not about style. And look, I have been guilty throughout regular seasons looking back on a win and still critiquing the performance, because in the regular season, I think that is more acceptable. You look at some of the things, we've talked about the passing game in the past. Could this come back to haunt them? All that. This is the part where you're worried about it coming back to haunt them, and it hasn't. They won. They won the wild card matchup. They won the divisional matchup. They're hosting the NFC Championship game, and people still want to be negative. And I'm not acting like they blew them out. You're right. We're not acting like that. But they found a way to win, and in the playoffs, that's all that matters. I guarantee you they're not saying in Buffalo, well, Josh Allen only threw for 127 yards. I guarantee you they're not saying in Kansas City, well, Patrick Mahomes only had 177 yards. They're talking about we're in the AFC Championship game, and that's exactly how we should be talking about it in Philly.
Well, I know why they wouldn't be talking about that in Kansas City. Because
right.
They've had plenty of success with that, guys. They're not going to harp on a game where he didn't throw for a lot of yards.
Yeah, but look at Jalen Hurts, though. For real. We are only 2 years removed from him being in the Super Bowl. I mean, this team was in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. They're back. You're 2 years removed from him outperforming Mahomes in the Super Bowl. 2 years ago, Jalen threw for over 300 in Super Bowl 57 and had a better game than Mahomes did. So what are we worried about?
I look at it like this. He's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. I mean, even Jaden Daniels. It doesn't matter. Like, this is what I don't understand how people it doesn't matter that he's not them. But let's get. They're playing the Commanders, right? So let's hear from your favorite coach, the greatest coach that ever lived, because he is telling you, hey, we're not taking anybody lightly. Yeah, I know we're a favorite, but Washington is going to be tough for us to win. Nick Sirianni, 13, Ray.
You know, it was a hard-fought battle. They got us in that one, and, I got a lot of respect for Coach Quinn and the job that he's done. I knew he was, going against him so many times when we was the Cowboys. I knew how special of a coach he is. He's got those guys playing really good. We're going to be battling for a lot of years to come, and we get to battle here this week in the NFC Championship game. Credit to them. They're a really good football team, really well coached, really good players, got a lot of respect for that team that's going to be coming in here, and we'll do everything we can to get ready for this game.
Look at that. Look at that. Just like a true leader. Have you ever heard any coach not say, I have a lot of respect for what that coach has done and how he has done with that team? It's like a stock answer.
Yeah.
You just push a button.
You give a stock answer.
He did say with McVay this week that preparing for good coaches on the other side, which infers the idea that there are people in his brain that he says are not good coaches. We'll never get who he doesn't believe are good coaches. But when you're preparing for a good coach like McVay, means that someone out there, he's like, you know what? they're kind of at their job. I'll be okay.
Well, let's give Sirianni some love though, and I don't mean the song just yet. So I just tweeted out a graphic, Mike. The most wins in the first 4 NFL seasons in the last 30 years, including regular season and postseason. Number 1 by 3 wins is Nick Sirianni with 52 wins in his first 4 NFL seasons. The 3 people closest to him are Matt LaFleur, Jim Harbaugh, and John Harbaugh at 49. Sirianni's got 52 damn wins in his first 4 seasons. So I no longer want the qualifiers when we compliment him. I no longer want anybody asking what this guy does, because he's proven time and time again that he is a good damn football coach. You don't win this many games as a head coach if you're not a good coach.
On this note,
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
On this note, there's no way we can't do it now. And we had to wait for a really long time. People have been waiting for it all day. I think it's time, Ray. Kick it!
Here we go, baby. Little Sirianni love on this Victory Monday. Feel free to join in, Ray. Sirianni knows how to coach. Sirianni knows how to coach. In the city of brotherly love. He keeps on winning. Keeps on winning. Come on, Ray. Sirianni should be the coach of the year. Where's Dan Campbell? Oh, hold my beer. Sirianni love, baby.
All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You've been waiting for it all day. Let's go to Nick and Hershey. Nick, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Nikki.
Bill, you and I are simpatico, my brother. Sirianni knows how to coach.
Love it, Nick.
Because, honestly, be happy with what you have. This is postseason. This is not regular season. We don't need Jalen Hurts to win MVP. We don't need any of that. We just need to win a game and be happy with where you are. Yes, the weather conditions were terrible yesterday, but he found a way to win that 44-yard run. I knew right away when he broke that tackle, gone. And then it got worse and worse. Look at Saquon, breaks another one. So I just don't understand, and I feel like I hate to say this, I'm 37, so some of the older fans expect, the world to fall on top of us and that somehow we're going to blow it. We're not. Jalen Hurts is a winner. Proved it everywhere he went. He's a winner. And, yes, he's not going to throw like Josh Allen. He doesn't have the arm strength. He's not going to run the ball like Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have the no-look pass like Patrick Mahomes. So we're in a situation, we're hosting an NFC Championship game in Philadelphia.
Listen, man, preach. Preach, yes. Nick and Hershey.
Enjoy it, Nick.
Preach. All right, buddy, he just brought up Saquon. We haven't heard from Saquon today, so let's hear from Saquon. Whitehall High, right? He's in the central Pennsylvania area, a lot of snow. He's used to walking in snow. Penn State, with snow, the first snow, it would last the whole winter. It's nothing to him. And here's what he said about playing in those conditions.
I mean, I don't really think it was too crazy. It wasn't that bad as I thought it was going to be. I don't really count it it was more like hail than it was snow, to be honest. But, it's tough to play in that, especially, for old linemen. And I think that obviously the stuff that we went back, but throughout the whole thing, I think they handled it pretty well, and we got the win.
Well, see, so just humble Saquon. Nothing that dazzle you. That's no big deal to him. It didn't affect him. It didn't affect him running. He had the offensive linemen. He knew that they were going to have tough footing, but he just trudged along.
And I know you wanted to see him go for the record in the final week of the season. But right now, he's only 148 rushing yards away from setting the all-time record for most yards in a season, including the playoffs. Yeah. He's 148 behind Terrell Davis.
Yeah, he would have done that already. He played in that last game. Mike Missanelli Show, coming down the home stretch. Our closing arguments are coming up. You can predict where our closing arguments are going to be. If you listen to the tenor of this show today, was it the greatest performance by the quarterback? Well, I don't think you could have a great performance in weather like that, but it certainly was passable enough to win a game. And to me, that's the most important thing. In conjunction with what they do offensively with Saquon Barkley, in conjunction with what they do on defense with Fangio and Jalen Carter's, like he's unstoppable. You got two unstoppable forces, one on defense, one on offense. And you put together the whole package, and they're in the NFC title game as a 5.5-point favorite and the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Let's go to Vicente. On Sal Vicente, hola, amigo.
Hola, amigo, Mikey Miz.
What's up? What are you doing?
I'm driving my way to Hershey to attend a conference with the industry.
He's a big. This man's a big. He's like Pete Buttigieg of Pennsylvania. This guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to congratulate the new Papa, Bill Colarulo.
Oh, thank you.
Her beautiful girl.
He's got
right?
un poco niña.
Una niña.
Yeah, una niña.
Una niña chiquita.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was thrilling, to say the least, last night, to watch the Eagles beat these guys, And we're waiting for the Washington Commanders. And all the key to success is just to watch the video, the previous performances, and improve upon and try to protect Jalen Hurts and give the ball to our Superman, Saquon.
That's all they do, and I assume that might be the game plan, although maybe they expand the passing lanes next week. Yeah. They didn't seem to have a problem moving the football through the air against Washington.
Yeah, just like you said, he learned to play in the snow in Penn State. I've been in Penn State so many times. So
yeah, he learned to walk in the snow. He never played in the snow. Penn State. they keep that field pretty buttoned down over there.
I know, the Beaver Stadium.
Yeah,
but
that's right, the Beaver Stadium.
The number 10, the kicker, the punter, he deserves accolades. Man.
Braden Mann?
Yes, with his bare hand, he, shoveled the snow just to make sure that the ball was in place for Jake Elliott.
That should be illegal, by the way.
But,
it should be clearance. I don't get that.
Oh, my God. He almost froze in his
Yeah,
hand.
you're not allowed to bring a towel out there, but your teammates can clear a space for you? That's ridiculous.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Hold on. You're okay with Patrick Mahomes flopping on the sidelines to try to take a penalty, but you're not okay with the guys trying to clear some snow?
One's a part of the game. The other is that you're altering the field.
Wait a second.
You're not altering the field?
It's more of a part of the game, them trying to clear some snow with their hands.
Well, why is that part of the game?
Intentionally trying to draw a penalty.
The game has to be played on all the snow. So you make a special clearance for a freaking kicker? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Listen, they have a certain amount of time on the game clock, on the play clock, I mean. And if they can do it without bringing out towels and without using anything artificial, why can't they try to clear?
Okay, so when the linemen break the huddle, they should clear where the center is. Clear that space so Jalen can get a better snap. What's the difference?
Well, the difference is the ball's already there. So, they could try to, but you can't move the ball. With the kick, the ball's not back there yet.
Absolutely ridiculous to not allow clearing with a certain instrument, and yet let your teammates clear a space for you. It doesn't make any sense. Let him kick out of the snow.
No.
Part of the game.
No problem with it. You just can't bring out a towel. It's fine. It's great teamwork right there.
Got a Dez in Malvern. Dez, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Dez.
Mikey Miz, what's going on, man?
What's up, Dez?
Hey, listen. I'm trying to stay positive, man. I get it. Yesterday looked ugly. It was inclement weather, snow. That reminded me of the Falcons game from 2017. 4th and goal, Matt Ryan trying to throw the ball to Julio Jones, right?
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes the wins are just going to look like that way. Got to just keep leaning on Saquon, lean on the defense.
It's funny you brought that game up because I wasn't afraid they were going to lose that game either. I don't know. There's something about, I think they're going to make a play to preserve it. And Julio was the GOAT. He should have caught that ball, too.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
Mikey Minutes, I actually ran into you on the plane, man, a few weeks back. You were going to Puerto Rico.
Ah.
Yeah, that was me,
that's
man.
right. Oh, hey, man. Good to see you.
You too, bro.
How was first class, Daz? Was it nice?
Every time we like you, man.
I actually flew first class on the way back.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, not there.
I'll tell you, man. I mean, I don't usually fly first class, but I had to go on a business trip once to the Philippines, and I flew in business class on Qatar. It ruined me. It ruined me because now it's impossible when you sit coach compared to that. It was unbelievable.
It really is spoiling.
Yeah, you get the whole pod and everything. You could sleep.
A good meal too. I forget what the meal was. Oh, it was a chicken. You had two choices: you had chicken or you had penne pasta, right? With red sauce.
Oh, you definitely went with the chicken. There's no way Mike Missanelli is
I'm looking across the guy across from me. He's got the pasta. I go, Medigan.
Yeah.
Like there's no way I'm ordering pasta with red sauce on an airplane. Greg in Orland, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Greg.
What's happening, guys?
What's up, Greg?
Yeah, that's a good move. It's good to do there, Mikey. You can't order.
Yeah, that's no good.
Long story short, when I was dating my wife, I said to her once, I said, we can go any place you want for dinner, hon. She's like, great, I want to go to the Olive Garden. I said, well, except for there.
What? You wanted to go to the Olive Garden?
That turned into what?
You didn't marry an Italian girl, did you?
No, I did not.
All right, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead.
But I wanted to call because, this is driving me nuts. I have a twin brother, and we just had an argument for like 20 minutes about, Ike Reese and Barrett Brooks are saying Jalen's holding the ball too long, and I just kept saying, did we win the game? Did we win the game? Did we win the game? And there's no answer. It's like, yeah, but the defense. I'm like, well, I don't know. Jalen had a 44-yard run. He threw a great pass to Saquon to get us out of the shadow of our goal line. He threw a ball to A.J., who dropped it, and then Lane Johnson had a false start. So, I don't know. It drives me freaking bonkers. Now, will it catch up to us? Maybe it will. But as of now, he keeps winning games. I heard the same thing last week. He's holding on to the ball too long. Now we got this week. Another W. We're in the NFC Championship. He's holding the ball too long. I'm like, I don't care if he holds the ball forever as long as he wins the damn game. Who cares?
Yeah, I always say the same thing. If it costs them a game, well, then you got an argument. Until then, you don't have an argument. So if you want to hold on to your argument and keep, playing that narrative, well, it's going to eventually happen. Well, we'll see. And if it doesn't, then what? What do we have? Ex-Eagle on ex-Eagle crime here? You got two guys questioning Hurts, and our pal Seth has been pro Hurts. What's going on in the ranks of ex-Eagles who get media jobs?
I'll tell you, man. You talk about the 180 of Seth Joyner from 2 years ago when they go all the way to the Super Bowl, just killing that team. And now he's changed it up to, why aren't we just enjoying it? I like this version of Seth.
You an ex-Eagle? Oh, you'll get your own talk show. All right.
Is that how it works?
Yes, I guess. Apparently.
Well, people
at the other station, it works that way.
When you and I did the postgame with Seth last year, a lot of people would ask me, does Seth ever smile? Like, yeah, he's not a mean guy behind the scenes.
He doesn't smile a lot.
It was fun when we watched the game.
Yeah, he was fun, but he doesn't smile a lot.
Yeah, I guess maybe you're right.
He doesn't even smile at a golf course. I played golf with him. I guess Seth.
He's a single-digit cap, from my understanding.
Yeah, he's
pretty good golfer.
He played it. I took him out. All right, I guess it's time now for closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
All righty. My closing argument is really a simple one today. You guys made it really simple for me for my closing argument. You're complaining about the quarterback after a win, when the quarterback actually did make several good plays in that game, including getting them off and running with a 44-yard romp for a touchdown. And somewhere along the line, it's gotten lost in the shuffle that the Eagles are a complete team that probably doesn't need the splash Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen type of quarterback this year. You know why? Because they have the best player on offense in any game they're going to play, and they have the best player on defense in any game they're going to play. And they're a 5.5-point favorite at home in an NFC title game. And we're worried. Folks, have a glass of iced tea. Sit back. Take a sip. appreciate where you are right now with this team. And if they lose, they lose. And we'll be the first to criticize them. Bill?
Yeah, you and I are seeing eye to eye today, Michael. It's the playoffs. It doesn't matter how you win. It just matters that you do win. And good teams find a way to win football games. And that's what the Philadelphia Eagles have done. They've now won 12 straight games when Jalen Hurts starts and finishes. And they won yesterday. They won 2 weeks ago in the wild card. And like you said, they're favored in the NFC Championship. This is not a time to be the Negadelphian. This is the time to enjoy it. This is the reason why we're a fan base for moments like this. Enjoy it. Celebrate it. We're going to break everything down all week leading up to the NFC Championship game. And as you pointed out, the Eagles are favorites. They should be headed to New Orleans. I'm enjoying the ride, Mike.
Folks, when you go to bed, you put your head on the pillow. Don't have nightmares about Jaden Daniels. He's a nice player. He's also a rookie. I get it. He's poised. He's got to come into a hostile stadium in an NFC title game where it's going to be really cold against a really good defensive coordinator who has the #1 defense. He's not Superman. All right. Everybody, I appreciate you listening today, calling the show. Ray, good to have you. Bill, good to have you back. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. It's
the
been
new proud papa who will get no sleep again tonight.
It's been a fun few days. Eagles win. Dan Campbell loses. Bianca's born. I'm sitting pretty.
Have a great night, everybody. Be safe out there. Put that rock salt down, but not the stuff that gets into your pet's paws. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles on 62-yard touchdown run in the first half and what looked like a game-clinching 78-yard touchdown run.